But I'll just start this recording. We lost the first 2.5 minutes, but who gives a shit?
That's fine. It was mainly pronunciation issues.
That it was. Well then, let's fire away, I guess.
Duel Monsters, GX, 5Ds, and started on Arc V since I never watched
Arc
it all the way
5.
through when it was recently added into Duel Links. Now, originally, when I was watching through these series and planning out a potential video, I intended to talk about GX and how it's a near perfect sequel to the original series.
By not having anything to do with the original series.
They have like one shadow game that's related to Egyptian black
like
magic, and it gets, yeah.
I
it's
guess
the
he
great
talked
sequel.
to Yugi at the beginning and dueled him at the end, and
Kaiba was there.
Yeah,
Pegasus
yeah.
was there.
yeah, Kaiba was
Yeah.
there.
It was definitely a lot more like connected to the previous series than 5Ds was.
That's
but
true, actually, yeah.
Let's not
5D
say
is even more detached. Which
5Ds
creates some massive questions in terms of world building, but you know.
like where the fuck is Judai doing everything? And Yugi and Kaiba. Kaiba should own the city. It's Neo Domino City.
Yeah,
It's his city.
yeah. But I guess we just
It's like
ignore
it's even
Kaiba.
bigger issue. Like, how is Kaiba not the one in charge of the moment system? How was he not the one fucking
How was he
spearheading
not the one who
that
invented
system?
it? Kaiba invents everything
Especially in his city too. It's like
in his shitty.
very strange in his city, exactly.
But then I got to 5Ds, and that's when I noticed something. In talking to friends and acquaintances who were into Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day like I was, it seems that most got to this series when Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, more like Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds nuts! Ha!
It's more
Got 'em!
5Zs,
And then moved
'cause
on
I'm
to
gonna fucking
Gears of War
sleep.
2. Makes sense since people my age got into the original series when they were in their preteens and it was popular in the schoolyard. So 5Ds was airing when they were firmly in high school territory and transitioning out of Saturday morning cartoons. But that's disappointing because 5Ds is by far one of the most interesting things Yu-Gi-Oh! Has ever had to offer.
I completely disagree.
I'm not. Depends on what he means by interesting, really. It's interesting how they failed at this grand scale, you know?
Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah, how did you fuck it up this bad?
I mean, we've read his description, and you know, he already said that it talks about, or he actually talked at the beginning of the video, it talks about classism, which it doesn't.
Comments on it. It doesn't talk about it. It comments on it.
It does. It really
It
doesn't. It doesn't even do that. It just
comment on it. It doesn't even. It gives them maybe a. This is bad. That's about the most we get from it.
and yeah, then it fucks it up on a royal scale because now it looks like the Shatterlites, it's all their fault because they rather build a massive fucking bridge with the goals of stealing from the shitty instead of using the resources to, I don't know, fix their fucking houses.
That's very disingenuous. It's not for stealing. It's about making them share resources by force.
Oh yeah, sorry, of course. Which they technically already do.
They do, yeah.
You know, they give them, they give them junk and scrap, but, you know, it's not like they're completely ignoring them.
I mean, but that's the thing. We literally see in the series whenever someone from Shitty goes over to make a deal from them, they just
Yeah,
say
they get
no.
fucking robbed.
So they fucked it up even harder. It's so funny.
Whenever we see the Shatterlites do anything, they're just awful people.
So funny.
What makes 5D stand out is how it immediately differentiated itself from everything that came before or after. The protagonists were aged up, the tone was grimmer without being aggressively edgy, there's nuanced themes related to poverty and privilege.
Nuanced themes.
Where's the nuance in 5Ds at all?
I don't think I've ever seen something that is more on the nose than 5 fucking Ds.
Jack, I've chosen a different road from you. Literally moved down to the other road. My guy.
Oh, God.
Within the context of still being a card game series. When I implied this was Akira meets Yu-Gi-Oh!, I wasn't kidding. You can tell that 5Ds is where the creators tried to break out of the mold that the previous series had found themselves in. And for the most part, they nailed it.
There's no mold.
Yeah, what like, mold though?
That's the thing.
GX and Duel Monsters are wildly different.
He has in his thumbnail like 5D's cults, robots, and like GX had a cult. It did have that, and then it was an isekai.
Yeah,
Like, there's no multi. GX is insane.
yeah. And Duel Monsters was also just random bullshit go. So
Actually, it's like fucking original Yu-Gi-Oh! Like the manga starts off as like, let's murder a guy this week in a new game. Like,
yeah.
dude,
I'm just saying there's not really a mold with Yu-Gi-Oh! Except they play card games, and that didn't
yeah,
change.
that's the
So
only mold. Yeah, that's the only thing that like stays consistent within each series. Like, even as we go further along, it's like Arc 5 compared to Zeal is completely fucking different. Like
oh,
Arc 5
you
is
mean
about
Zexel?
no, it's Zeal. Stop, cease.
No,
You
it's
sound
Arc
like the Arc
V.
V. It's the Arc V people. They're back.
I mean, you also mispronounced fucking Kazuki Takahashi, so yeah.
He's
So
mispronouncing
while I
Arc
will
V
eventually
too.
cover the previous series, because I love some of these dumbasses too much not to talk about them at some point, for now, I have a major itch to dig into 5Ds, and my ADD brain only lets me focus on one hyper obsession at a time. That means for today, we're going to be talking about why this anime about card games being played on motorcycles is actually pretty sick.
Pretty sick.
Yeah. There's
I mean, it
definitely
makes
an
me
illness
sick.
that must be cured.
Got him.
There's a deep sickness in 5Ds.
Rotten through the core. 5D's is diseased. Rotten through the core.
And in a lot of ways, Yu-Gi-Oh! At its peak.
Oh no. My god.
When this is the peak, what is the valley?
Literally.
こ
How
の
bad
番
do
組
you
は
think the
グ
rest
ラ
of
ンド
the
スポー
series
ツの
is?
提供でお送りします
Okay.
So first things first, let's get the main premise I'm sure is on everyone's mind out of the way. That
Audience
being,
awards,
Card
right?
games on motorcycles.
Card Yeah, games on
motorcycles!
Card games on
It's
motorcycles.
But the
very
thing is, the
stupid.
motorcycles
Yeah.
are fucking stupid, though.
It's really unnecessary.
Yeah, they don't even do anything with it. They're just on motorcycles. It's
The
not.
one
They
time it
never
was
do
used-
anything clever with it.
The one time it was used well was fucking Speedwell 2 with Kiryu's duel against Yusei because he can't pop it, so he can't get rid of the Earthbound Immortal. That's actually a
Yes.
cool use of it.
But you don't need to be on a motorcycle for that.
Yeah. Well, for Speedwell 2 you do, but yeah, if you mean like if they could just make up like a
You can just say, yeah,
prominent
we
field
played like this specific duel. There's an indestructible field spell. Like, no need for a motorbike. And they mostly
Yeah,
just drive
I
like, especially early series, they just drive in straight lanes with like no expression. It's fucking boring and dull to look at. Which is kind of worse than if they were just standing there.
I mean, I was gonna finish up on the Kiryu point with and they never like do it again. Like every fucking duel against Earthbound Immortal is, and then on like foot from then on, which is like, why did you guys give me a huge advantage for your win cons? Why did you do that?
Yeah.
Please.
Also,
Very
the effect of fucking Speedway 2 is fucking stupid. With like, if I have
Which
like
one
after
does
4
Amy
turns, I can
do?
just burn you for 3000 damage by having spells in my hand. Lol.
Like literally, like there's like 80 effects of them. It's like, okay, do you want burn damage? Do you want
No,
more cards?
it's
Like,
exactly
dude.
3 effects.
Oh, it is? How
Yes.
many was it? It was
It's
like the
burn effect,
card,
it's draw a card, and for 10 you can pop a card. That's it.
Man, why would anyone use 10?
They did it. Use it from time to time. The thing is, it takes fucking 10 turns. That's
I thought it was based on the amount of speed counters, based on how
yes.
fast you're going.
You gain 1 per turn. They explained like you get 1 for attacking directly or destroying monsters or something. I don't remember.
There you go. Gotcha.
I think even the show didn't remember that because they never really
I mean,
show how the
I'll
speed
be
counters
honest,
go.
I don't remember it because we watched it so fucking like
Because
what's
the
the
show's
word
so
I'm looking for?
fucking long.
Yeah, we had to watch it
And
over quite a while.
they explain it like 1 time, which is ironic because they explain everything all the time anyway. But not that. That would kind of be interesting to know, you know.
Crow, did you hear that? Card games on motorcycles!
yes, if there's one thing 5Ds is prolific for, even for those who haven't watched it, it's the fact that a majority of the duels happen on motorbikes. I remember when the series started airing in the West, it was already getting memed into the dirt for its initial sales pitch. And admittedly, it is patently ridiculous and over the top.
No, it's just kind of stupid.
It's also a really lazy way for the writers to just let him top deck.
I mean,
That's mainly what they use it for.
Yeah, now I can top deck another card by using 7 speed counters.
Yay.
Ooh.
We're gonna
But same
protect
goes
you
for
still.
most of Yu-Gi-Oh's core premise. The original series is an ancient Egyptian pharaoh possessing the body of a high school boy
Yeah, it's not out of place for you to be wacky and stupid. But that's not the issue. The issue is they don't fucking do anything with it.
and going on adventures where
Well,
nearly
you
every
used to try
conflict
to
is
get
resolved
Shattelite
through a
to
round
tie a
of
character
Cards
off.
Against Humanity,
I
which
remember.
originated a couple millennia ago, but motorcycles is what crossed the line. Granted, a lot of things in the previous series could be hand-waved away with a simple "it's magic" and get away with it.
I mean, it's literally
Where
Egyptian
playing
black
cards
magic.
on a moving vehicle was rooted just enough in reality that it started putting viewer suspension of disbelief in a vice grip. If you can get over that though, you'd find that dual runners are easily the best addition 5Ds brought to the series.
No, it's the music. The music is
yeah.
the best addition to the series.
Music's
Oh,
pretty good.
fucking dang.
That's about the only thing good about the series.
Literally, that's it. That's the only thing I could praise.
But I definitely wanna hear his point for why they're a good addition. What the fuck? Because my point is they don't add anything at all.
After nearing a decade of card games, the duels in the original series and GX were slowly growing stale. Still fun, but there's only so many ways you can frame two characters standing in a field throwing cards at each other to be exciting for the viewer, without doing some gimmick to fill out an entire episode.
Implying that 5D doesn't do that.
You also don't need it, is the thing, because you can make the duelist tense just by having them fucking die. Like,
Yeah.
you can do that. And also, actually having them play well would help too.
Yeah, that is not visually interesting. It's like, sure, but there's a lot else, other stuff that could be interesting. It's just that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very bad at portraying interesting Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels. Which is, kind of ironic.
Then in comes turbo duels, and suddenly there's entirely new dynamics to the way these scenes can be played. It's like how strip poker's a
I agree, there can be new dynamics. It's just, there are none. They don't do shit with this.
Yeah, because
spicy
that's the thing.
advancement
It's
of
like the
regular
same
poker.
shot, reverse shot,
But
half the
unlike
time
the
even
guy
in
who
the turbo
suggests
duel.
Yeah, it's the same shot, reverse shot, but now they're on motorcycles. And as I said, they often
Literally.
just drive like in a circle or straight forward. So
That's
there's
literally what
nothing
all the
going
duels-
on.
That's literally what fucking Yusei versus Kiryu 1 is. It's just them going in a straight line with Kiryu sometimes hitting him. Like,
Yeah. And then it also
Very
adds
much.
a whole new layer of stupid because just like, can't you just crash your opponent and they
Just
die?
Just murder him. Just do it. Like, you're clearly trying to. What's the point of the game anymore?
playing strip poker at a party, fusion summoning on the back of a motorcycle absolutely fucks. Now it's not just about
Yeah.
the cards being played and the holograms that can maybe sort of cause physical reactions, but how the duelists maneuver their uniquely designed duel runners. Suddenly, speed, control, movement, and locales are all factors to how a duel unfolds.
No, they're not. They're literally
no,
not.
at all. It's flavor text. That's all it is.
Yeah, it is. It's a new skin. It's also locale and flavor that, they already did that. A lot.
And also, you're showing this scene, this duel in particular. It's like they're next to a black hole. They should be dead. They're next to a sun.
Radically
My guy.
changing their
No.
pace and flow.
Stop.
From the very
Their
first
pace
episode
and
of
flow?
5Ds, we can see how much
First off, there's no
Piece of
flow in fucking
shit.
5Ds at all.
Everything is shit in 5Ds.
It's so bad. They stop like the meme of they explain what cards do every time that originated in Duelmans and GX. Yeah, it's there, but it's by far the worst in 5D so far.
So bad. And like, what I was gonna say in particular is so fucking dreadful was like in Zone versus Yusei when he's doing like the last big attack, and it has to show each dragon slowly attacking the fucking Time Lord. Oh my god.
It's so
could skip
shittily
20
paced. Like it's
seconds
one of
and
the
lose
most
nothing.
dull series to watch
Like,
ever.
I think this
maybe.
is probably the worst criticism you could make. I can skip 20 seconds, 30 seconds even, and lose nothing.
Yep.
Like, that's so
I did
bad.
that and many times. I just pressed the skip forward button, and we then arrived at where I would think we would be a second later.
Yes.
Ugh.
turbo duels change things in subtle ways, as the debut duel is a chase sequence where law enforcement are pursuing the main character.
Except,
That's
they're
also
not
one
really
of-
chasing him. They're just playing
That's
Yu-Gi-Oh! On
also one of-
motorcycles. It's not like he has to
also-
drive away and evade them doing it. He literally does not.
He can't. Like I said, it's on autopilot. He could. It's not a chase.
Oh yeah, also it's set on autopilot.
And
Yeah.
the only way for Yusei to escape is to win. Thus
He's
causing the
basically
officers
walking his
So
dog.
where would be the difference if they would just be standing there and doing it as a regular fight? There is no
Nothing.
difference. It's just a flavor.
duel runner to stall out. Fast forward to their next couple duels, as Officer Trudge gradually becomes the Javert.
Oh, the dub names. Oh,
Oh, his name is Trudge the dog. Oh no.
what was wrong with Ushio?
To Yusei's
Nothing.
Jean Valjean, and his driving becomes actively aggressive and hostile in his attempts to take down this punk kid from the Shattelite, tossing aside any honor.
How you're framing that? How are you framing that as a positive and not a negative? Why are you not immediately recognizing then? Wait, why the fuck are they playing Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, he's a criminal. Just fucking beat him up and put him in prison.
By attempting to run Yusei completely off the road before he can win and evade authorities yet again. Throughout 5Ds, the danger of crashing being this ever-looming threat significantly increases the intensity
And also,
of duels.
it's not a threat
as
because they
characters
don't
have
take
developed-
any form of damage from it ever. Like Jack
Yeah.
crashed 80 times and just gets up
Or the
fine.
fucking Archie montage when she learns to drive and just fucking like every single of these
Oh,
crashes should have killed her. Yeah.
It's insane. I hope he's going to show the clip of Jack crashing now. That'd be so funny.
balance the
Please.
active variable of riding with the mind games inherent with a card game, giving way to entirely different approaches of telling a story that
But
would
that's
work
actually
with
never
a ground-based
portrayed. That actually
Yeah,
would have been
but they
super
don't
cool.
use it.
That would have been super cool. Like, imagine Jack was like, fuck, I was hasty there because I was trying to avoid him. No, I activated that when I didn't mean to. That actually could have been really fun.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like it's very telling that he isn't giving examples. He's just saying this opens many dynamics. What dynamics, nigga? Name them. Name them. What
They don't-
what did they do with it? Tell me.
It's the fucking Jonathan Frakes telling you wrong. We made it up. It's a total
Actually, yeah.
fabrication.
duels of previous series. Though, to be
That scene
fair,
was so
on
stupid.
paper, turbo duels aren't that different from the traditional format outside of the motorsports aspect. It uses unique spell cards that require speed counters, which themselves are gained
They're not even unique spell cards. Like a lot of them are just regular spell cards, but this time you need a spell counter. Lol.
That's it.
each turn as the duelists speed around the track, and can be lost when players lose
Oh.
more than 1,000 life points, causing them to slow down. But other than a couple tangential rules that come up in the Grand Prix tournament arc, it's a modified rule set.
Oh my god.
Nothing
so
that
funny.
can't hypothetically be done sitting down, even being included in a few
Oh,
of the video
so we
games.
agree?
Apart from the fact
It's
that they
nothing
literally
that
are
can-
sitting down on a motorcycle.
It's like, okay, it's nothing that can't be done if they were just standing around or sitting down. Okay, we agree. Cool. They
So,
had
so what's your
nothing.
point then? Is your point they could have done something cool with it, but they didn't? It's like, yes,
Maybe-
I agree, they didn't.
Maybe his point is the flavor text is just that powerful. It's such a nice flavor. It
It's,
totally
you know what
changes
also?
things.
It's what's also extremely funny. Like you see
Hmm.
that 5D's logo here, like that where the S is golden, right?
Yes.
Did you notice that the actual series in the later episodes made the S black, and as well as the wrong apostrophe, which is by the way something that you mentioned. The title of the series is 5D apostrophe S. It's misspelled. So I
Okay, I
think
can
someone
see.
noticed, and instead of changing the logo outright, they just made these two black, so that you don't realize it. Oh, it's embarrassing. I think embarrassing is a good word for 5D.
Probably the
So
best
I can
word.
understand why some feel that the speed aspect doesn't feel fully utilized. In retrospect, the creators of the anime were clearly walking a fine line between trying to make turbo duels a unique style of play to keep things fresh within the 5D's universe, without adding in too many extrinsic elements or exclusive rules that turn it into anime wacky racers, possibly
But
confusing.
It is trying to be anime wacky races though. Like they make
They're
so
just
many
bad at
many
it.
lines. There's so many lines about it. It's like, oh my god, you say speed incredible. His ability to reverse and corner like that, insane. And it's just like, I guess, sure. If you say so, I'll take
What
your
does that
word
have
for
to
it.
do with his duelist skill?
Like literally. 'Cause,
Which
like,
he
I remember
doesn't
one
have,
point-
by the way, but we'll probably get into that.
I remember at one point as well, like when we were just both like, just slow down. Just slow down and play your card normally. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect anything other than well, this is what I with Speed World 1, and it really didn't matter then. With Speed World 2, it's like, fuck, I shouldn't slow down so I can get my fucking draw. Like that's about it. That's the only thing that really changes. If you slow down, you
Longtime
don't get
fans
a
of the
plus
original
one.
game in the process. And in that sense, turbo duels work well. Blending the visual language of motorsports with the moment-to-moment pace of a card game is a genuinely clever solution.
The moment-to-moment pace of a card game. What the fuck does he mean by that?
I attack with blue eyes. Oh, cool. Goes to graveyard. Turn end. Yeah. Like, card games
This
aren't
this
that
is another
exciting
of
to
these
die.
video essays that just can't form a sentence. Like he's just using words that are just like vaguely evocative, but he does not actually say anything.
Adding in entirely new dimensions to how
I'm
duels
imagining
work.
kind of boring. Like, I don't know what he's imagining. Is it like maybe he's picturing everyone super excited and like yelling their attacks like that Kaibo or something?
They should do that, that would help.
Animated and framed. Now that characters weren't physically nailed down to whatever spot they planted their feet when they started the duel, the animators had so much more freedom when it came to set pieces and storyboarding, framing matches through the positioning of opponents in the physical race, along with the monsters being summoned. Like, I'm trying my best to rationalize this, but at the end of the day, a character casually leaping over a vat of molten iron on their duel runner as they draw the vital card they need is just rad, plain and simple. But
So you're just easy to please, I guess.
Yeah.
But
It's,
I'm
and like this
sure.
thing, I could see it being cool if it wasn't Yusei. It's just Yusei's the lamest guy
It's
ever.
also Yusei is a very dull
That's the
person.
problem.
it's not just about dueling for the sake of
Like
it.
if Kaiser did it, that
Duels
shit
at their
would be
best in the series are
more.
more than just the cards being
But
played.
that just shows that it's
They're
not
about
about
the
the actions, about
emotions
the
and
guy who performs
stories
it.
built around them.
Yeah.
No one cares if
Fitting.
Jaden beats the monkey, it's what the monkey represents.
What?
In that
What?
same way, duel runners
What the actual fuck does he mean by that?
I think he's about to explain.
aren't simply motorcycles equal cool, but actually are just
But that's just what you said.
But that is
That is literally what you said last sentence. Bruh.
justified subtextually within the story.
It's not
Synchronizing
subtext
with
though
the
when they
actual
point it out.
It's not
Again,
subtext, it's text, you fucking monkey.
I'll point it out again. Jack, I've chosen a different road from you. Go to the left road. Like, okay. That's not
themes of
subtext, my guy.
5Ds. However, before we start digging into that,
Sponsor
I'm gonna have
time?
to take a quick detour and address another elephant in the room first.
Okay.
And that's the sub versus dub situation that hovers over any anime for kids localized back in the day, like some toxic miasma.
How about a nice room in a dungeon for the rest of your days?
Now, it's not a
That's what they
secret
did
for
to
anyone growing up
Arlo.
in the early
Oh,
aughts that 4Kids made a habit of mishandling the anime they localized, usually in hyper-sanitizing anything not conventionally found in Little Timmy's 3rd grade classroom, leading to hilariously bizarre abstractions.
These donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
But the situation with Yu-Gi-Oh's dub in particular has always been an anomaly.
I mean, getting sent to the Shadow Realm is way funnier than just getting murdered, though. I like the implication of it, actually, because it just sounds
Like,
worse. It's like in a worse fate, it's like, no, just stuck in darkness forever or something.
like all of this is there's a reason why getting sent back to the Shadow Realm is back now as a meme people use.
Yes,
like there's a reason
that one is actually genius.
On the one hand, between all the iconic performances and concepts like the Shadow Realm that have been fused into the fanbase's lexicon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the rare 4Kids dub that held up beyond the campy, so bad it's good qualities. One of the reasons Seto Kaiba has become the icon he is today was due to the phenomenal job Eric Stewart did voicing him in the dub.
Have you heard his original voice, brother?
Like his voice is so fucking good.
Burst the street!
Honestly, whenever he uses Obelisk, he pops off so fucking hot. It's so good.
and anyone who's late for registration will be disqualified. Mokuba, make sure Wheeler's late.
However, in making these changes, 4Kids also had to drastically, and I mean drastically, change the source material in order to bring it stateside, either due to localization decisions made by 4Kids themselves, or changes that were required by FCC regulations for children's programming, resulting in the tone of the series often being aged down from how it was originally written.
Then again, like anything above kids shouldn't really watch Yu-Gi-Oh! If they look for like a genuinely entertaining show, not just, you don't expect something good. Really. That, like, if you expect like a really solid tone from Yu-Gi-Oh! Then you're probably a bit lost to begin with.
That's the thing. GX is probably my favorite example of how much the tone fluctuates. Like, it gets to the fucking isekai arc, it's like, what the fuck? Whoa, can we chill out
And
now?
now our protagonist is possessed by his former spirit of a genocidal king who then, does what a genocidal king does, which is genocide people.
He murders people, he murdered his friends, and now he has PTSD over all the murder he's done.
Then he fuses with his ex-girlfriend.
GX is a fever dream. I
Yeah,
love it.
sometimes.
Mr. Pegasus would like to have a few words with you.
Of all the series, though, there's a strong argument to be made that 5Ds got the worst of this. Where GX's inherently lighthearted school setting allowed for plenty of freedom to be goofy in its localization,
I'm ready to duel. Let's go.
Yo, I'm down, but we be illin', homeboy.
I have no idea what you just said.
from moment one, 5Ds is thematically and narratively built around serious subject matter,
And it handles them horribly.
And it handles them incredibly awfully. And wonderful that you show the Arky flashback, one of the worst things in the entire show.
It's so bad. This is the key argument of why it's like,
Arky
You guys-
almost murders her own father, and he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And he's like, "Oh, did she just die?" And he's like, "Oh no, sorry, I didn't mean it like that." And then she holds it as a grudge for like fucking 15 years. Like, bro, that's just Arky's fault. Like, at that point, you're just a cunt.
and again, I'll bring up GX again. GX actually had you and I having PTSD
Yeah,
fairly
yeah.
well. Like, you can't say 5Ds handles the serious subject matter better than GX. You just can't.
Which is embarrassing because, it's GX is
Yeah,
also fucking
yeah.
silly.
It's extremely silly and goofy.
And 5Ds is not any less goofy, but it takes itself way more seriously, which honestly just makes it
Yeah.
worse.
It shouldn't. It really shouldn't take itself
It
serious.
really shouldn't, because now it's not, now you don't smile at it, you're just embarrassed for the writers. It's like, oh, come on, it's not your
You thought
fucking
that was cool.
like-
You thought that was smart. Oh my god.
like second-hand embarrassment is probably the feeling I got the most while watching 5Ds.
Mine was boredom.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, true. That probably ranks even higher.
related to classism, discrimination, violence, guns, and
Discrimination. You can't.
They're
show
not
Kiryu
discriminated when they get fucking imprisoned for doing crimes.
Literally, you can't use the Kiryu example. He attacked them.
He did. And everyone told him, no, fucking Kiryu, they're just gonna arrest you. Then they did.
It's like violence.
Oh
It's like
no,
a-
he's shown the fucking tiger example.
Oh,
This
I
guy's a
hate him.
piece of shit, by the way, and he
I
never
fucking hate
rectified
that guy
it.
so much.
The series just pretended he did, but he didn't.
Like, he forgave himself.
He
and the
forgave-
series
yeah,
was
didn't
like,
even
that's
write
good
the guy,
enough.
what
It's
the
the Kylo Ren thing. It's literally the Kylo Ren thing of like he forgave himself, and that somehow makes him a good person.
Bro. Oh yeah, can we also talk shortly about how fucking skewed the morality in 5Ds is? Like, holy shit.
Insane.
That series actually tells some awful fucking messages.
I think Tiger's probably one of the better examples of it. It's just like, oh, with Aki, Aki's an even better example of just change whose orders you take. Don't actually rectify the issue of not making your own decisions. Just change masters. So bad.
I mean, I guess you could at least argue at the end of the series she does something for herself for once.
Yeah, but
But like
only
in the
after
moment, it's
she's
just no.
inspired
She
by
now switches
Yusei.
from following blindly this one guy to blindly following Yusei. Nothing changed really.
But that's the thing, she only decided on like being a doctor, which she already wanted to do, when you say okayed it, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's Jack,
But
so
that
it's
goes for
still
all of
there.
them. So
I know. I think it's bad for all of them too.
yeah, it's
I
kind
just
of
think
silly.
it's especially bad with Aki since her whole arc is supposed to be about that, and when it's not.
And she's not. She's just random sidekick for most of the show.
Like I said, all she did was switch to her collarless leash too. That's all.
Yeah.
Death, which had to be heavily toned down or removed altogether.
How does it look, Doctor?
He's got some serious bruising on the right side of his abdomen.
Is he going to be all right?
It's a long shot.
Since storylines like a
I mean,
That's very funny.
still works.
There's some light bruising. Is he going to be alright? It's a long shot. That's actually really funny.
I mean, yeah. But also, yeah, I get it. Like, also, come on, he's the protagonist.
Yeah.
It's not like
I mean,
anyone
to be
actually thinks
fair-
he's gonna be harmed.
In the sub, it's basically they treat it super seriously, but you're just there like, why? I know he's gonna be fine. Why are you bullshitting me? Don't bullshit. Don't waste my time.
Yeah.
psychic cult torturing a boy to death, resulting in his sister having a mental breakdown and driving off a cliff, leading her to make a sinister pact with an ancient evil gecko so that she can seek vengeance on her brother's killers, would be difficult to
Instead of just doing it to begin with, but you know.
keep to a soft PG rating. 4Kids had to file down 5D's sharper edges with a belt sander, removing most of the bite when it comes to its deeper themes.
There is no bite in 5Ds. There's also no
mean,
deep themes in 5Ds.
I wouldn't say it's deep. Yeah, it's like there's nothing. It's all surface level, all of it.
It's extremely shallow. To the point of where it becomes infuriating at times. And let's not forget Crow's fucking shitstorm posting, which we're probably getting to that.
Even if it gave us some undeniably hilarious edits attempting to work around the darker moments of the story.
Don't worry, he's not in any pain. The child is actually creating that electrostatic force field with his telekinetic abilities.
Probably the
That
best.
just sounds like gaslighting.
Okay, that is funny.
Yeah, because it also sounds extremely insincere. Like it just sounds like she's trying to gaslight them, which actually makes it worse. Now it's more serious than before.
I mean, I don't know about that. I think that I take that like.
No, I take that as like the government is in on just trying to fucking gaslight the protagonist and saying, no, he's fine. Don't worry. Nothing bad's gonna happen. No, I think that's actually an improvement.
With government, for God's sake, just trust us. Come on.
Yeah, come on, it's fine. You don't worry about it. Just follow the orders. Like that would already be more subtle than anything 5D does ever. Thank you, 4Kids, you did it. You improved 5D.
I don't know about that. Like I said, I disagree. It makes it seem like they're just shit posting, but they should be shit posting.
Yeah.
Like, that's my perspective.
Congratulations, you ruined 5Ds, and thank God.
Best example
made
of
it
this is with
bearable.
the Crash Town arc, a 6-episode mini arc that homages classic westerns, where in real time you can see 4Kids localizers twisting themselves into Honda knots to avoid showing any use of guns on screen.
No, she's right! We've been under Lawton's thumb for long enough!
Due to this requirement to censor
That's so funny.
I mean, that is really fucking funny, not gonna lie. And also, it's about as threatening because no one ever shoots anyone.
When they should have, because it's
Yeah.
just like I'm going to decide my future for myself. You say I'm betting my future on your duel. What?
Lol,
Hold on.
Lamar.
It's the same shit as Aki.
Yeah, it really is. They did Kiryu dirty, man.
They did. It's so bad.
around the use of firearms, the big finale to the last duel in Crash Town had to be removed entirely because it unavoidably concludes with a man getting shot in the head after a quick draw standoff. And that sucks,
Yeah,
as
shot
it
by a
is the
hologram.
Yeah,
coolest
shot by a
moment of the
hologram.
entire
It's not
series.
actually hurt.
I implore anyone who has not watched the sub version of this series, at the very least, look up this duel, as it is masterfully done.
It was alright. It was better than most 5D's duels, I guess.
For 5D standard, it's masterfully done. Which means it's only highly below average.
Like, literally, yeah. It's like if you want an actually masterfully done duel, the real Jack Atlas standing up. Go
Best episode in the series, the real
He
Jack Atlas.
actually has good combos.
He does. And he's way more entertaining than the fake Jack Atlas. Ah, the real Jack Atlas, my hero.
Further
brings it
highlighted
up.
by
I
the
really
slick
do.
Western
Probably not.
accompaniment in the background.
Are you gonna subtitle it? No? Okay.
It's a good thing I know Moon. I know.
He says watch the subs. Doesn't show subs. Okay.
Actually, while we're on that subject, that's another thing to add to 4Kids running tally. Like previous Yu-Gi-Oh! Series before, the dub for 5Ds completely replaces the original soundtrack. And
Well, that's
that
just
ends up
a
changing
criminal.
the mood of scenes on a fundamental level. 5D's
Okay, well,
grungy...
first of all, let's not pretend that
So-
5Ds uses its OST well to begin with.
Yeah, the
Let's not
soundtrack is
pretend that.
not fitting to begin with.
It's not a.
It's
like,
just
the
a,
OST
it's just
is
a good
great.
soundtrack in itself.
Yeah, the soundtrack is good on its own. It's just they added it in all the wrong places, so it's not used well at all.
Yeah. But don't change the music.
futuristic
they
atmosphere
actually did
is
that for
built
the
off the
dub.
back
So
of its
throughout
mix
all the
of
fucking,
new
like, in
metal and
GX,
techno
right?
music.
You had
To the
none
point
of
you
the
can't
Supreme King tracks at all. You didn't get his sick electric guitar. It's such a shame.
Ah, Supreme King Jude. Good shit.
entirely
fucking
separate
playing it
them
all.
without losing something. Just take a listen. For a series about card games being played on motorcycles, the OST goes surprisingly hard. In a
It
way that the
does.
series
But it doesn't all Yu-Gi-Oh! Series.
That's also true as well. Like when we get to Zeal, dude, that shit. It takes the fucking trumpet and it uses that shit so well. It uses it like it's Gen 3 of Pokemon.
Nice.
has never quite lived up to since. Tracks like Yusei and Jack's battle
rough. I don't know if I
themes,
agree
or
with that.
Jack's battle theme is it's kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie.
Jack's spell theme is lame.
It's also super unfitting for Jack's character because he's supposed to be like he's burning soul. He's just supposed to be fucking shitting everything out. And it's just it's like, why is that your
It's
theme?
not hard enough. It's not hard.
Yeah,
like, at
actually,
all.
like he should have the fucking guitar shredding, but he doesn't. He has like light synthesizer. It's a bit.
Yeah, you'd expect most of the synths to be for Yusei since
Yeah,
all
because
about
he's supposed to be clear mind. We'll also switch their bikes around. Why is his bike white and Yusei's red? Why?
Because the rest of his fit is white. That's why.
But it should be what Yusei's the white Stardust. I mean, technically he saw that, but you know, maybe modeled out that. But then why did Yusei go for red? I mean, maybe that's just all this crap he had lying around. He had no choice. But
No,
thematically, it's
plenty of red
strange.
dye. There was plenty of red dye and no white dye. That's why.
Oh, it's colored in the blood of cops.
Oh no.
or the Speed World theme so perfectly complement the racing motif that 5Ds has with its duels that
if you say so.
It's a genuine downgrade losing it for the generic synth soundtrack that took its place. The dub makes up for it a bit with its new opening theme Hyperdrive, but the fact that Clear Mind insert song was removed from Shooting Star Dragon's first summoning is a war crime that some former 4Kids producer will answer for someday. I'll see you in hell.
We are in agreement.
Hell, Michael Brady. Lastly, there's the fact that the run of 5D's English dub was cut 30 episodes short.
Lucky bastards!
Oh, you lucky bastards, really. You don't know how good you have it. I hope it's the last 30 as well, because that was the worst.
By far the worst. Well, actually, maybe not by far, but it's very close. It's very close to the worst.
Similar to GX a couple of years prior, 5D's
That's a shame
entire
because they cut the
last
best
arc
arc.
in
Yeah,
the
because the last arc of
never
GX is the
aired
best
in
one.
English. So not only is there
That's
massive
also the funny
resolution
thing.
issues
GX
with
got
the main
better as it went on. 5D stayed the same or got worse.
Yeah, 5D was just stale all the time with a real big turd at the end. Good job, 5D.
Antagonists, but of the top 10 duels from this series, 6 never got localized and were completely missed by fans.
They're all shit.
Oh my god, they
are all shit.
didn't have to see Sherry. Oh, lucky
Oh
prick.
no.
Oh, they actually cut the Bruno one. I actually quite like Bruno and Yusei's duel if it wasn't for the retarded setting.
Yeah, that was okay.
And if they had built it up more. Like, they should have built it up more. And then, yeah, there's a lot they should have
don't
done
have
more.
Zushin the Giant. Oh no.
Yeah, that's good. Cut that shit. That shit's ass, dog.
Oh my god, that duel was okay-ish. But then again, I really wouldn't say any of the duels in the fucking series are great. They don't.
Yeah, I don't think,
most of them don't even
think
reach
anything is
average.
okay. I think that, like, the best I could say is, like, okay, it's okay. So,
Yeah.
that's the best I could get. It's
I
okay.
wasn't actively suffering.
Yeah, I'm like...
But
I can't
I
think of
think
a
at
single-
least he didn't include the zone duel as one of the best. So.
Fans who never
Yeah,
looked
Zone
into the
Duel's
sub
awful.
version. So the one shining moment where Leo gets to be more than the annoying child side character, completely gone. The explanation for who Bruno is and why he's there, which leads to his life or death duel against Yusei, the one person he developed a mutual attachment to, never happens. For those who ever...
I mean, except zone. You know,
Yeah, he also developed an attachment to Zone.
and probably Paradox and the MacLord fucker. But
Like,
we don't ever
no,
see
don't
that
think
happen
about
at
it
all.
well.
So
That's something I thought would been like a really cool thing for the series to explore more. It's like even without his memories, Bruno was still able to was the first person he made friends with and gravitate to with Yusei, who is Zone. Like
but
that's
Zone
actually a
isn't
cool
Yusei now.
detail.
Lol,
That
fuck
is
you.
not Yusei, so it's like, oh okay, that's really
yeah,
lame.
that only makes it even worse. Good job, 50.
Fuck's sake.
Also, something that we didn't mention so far is the first arc of Chinese. That's the best one, and that's not there.
Yeah, the team satisfaction arc. Where is that? That arc would have been pretty fun.
If you first just opened the fucking series with that, then at least I would have given maybe half a shit about anything that happened.
It's like it would have been a lot more interesting too for you. Say like he ends up in prison. He's like, okay, is Kiryu here? It's like, no, he died months ago. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
And that would just be nice setup for when he comes back as a Dark Shigna. Now he is beef.
But that would imply that the writers had any kind of foresight ever.
Yes,
So-
they literally didn't have a plan. They had to flash back that Kiryu existed. They had to just make him up. They
Yep.
retconned him. So
If you
funny.
ever watched the original series, imagine not getting the latter half of the Battle City tournament
Oh no. What a loss.
or the duel between Yugi and Atem. Supposedly,
Can I be perfectly honest? I quit the original series before that because it was so fucking bad. So I didn't watch that anyway.
I'll say this, it would feel weird if that stuff wasn't there. Like, the fucking Atem versus Yugi is supposed to be the big combination of their journey together. It's not because Yugi hasn't developed at all, but you know, ignore that.
Let's ignore that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very bad at portraying Yu-Gi-Oh! Or
That's
portraying
it.
anything, really. It's a complete shit show, the entire anime. I don't know if you've mentioned that so far, but it's bad, all of it.
None of it is good. I agree.
this quick wrap up was due to a legal dispute between 4Kids and TV Tokyo regarding some backdoor dealings the former was making, resulting in the Japanese broadcaster almost terminating their contracts altogether. Though 4Kids claims the cuts had more to do with low TV ratings.
That's fair.
It
The
wouldn't
show
surprise
is
me at all.
before
Yeah.
you start. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if even kids just turned the fucking TV off when 5Gs comes on. I would have.
Can we go back? Can we go back to Duel Academy? I miss that place. I'm going to my GBA now.
Yeah.
Either way, this would explain why sizable chunks of the last season were axed, as 4Kids was racing to end it as fast as possible,
Oh, the CG.
and just
It's
cut
just like
anything that was
me.
seen as chaff, even if that chaff was vital plot points. Like I said, 5D's got it pretty bad. But as much as I can deride 4Kids dub for all the changes and general mistakes with how it handled 5Ds, it also has that undeniable 4Kids charm to the writing and delivery of lines that's super endearing to go back to.
Try harder next time. Is that Joey Wheeler? No, man, it's his cousin Jesse Wheeler.
Greg Abbey
That is actually funnier than anything in 5D.
It is, yeah. The dub is at least intentionally funny.
Is that Joey Wheeler? No, that's his cousin, Jesse Wheeler. Oh, that's funny. I like that. Maybe you should have watched the 4Kids dub instead.
It
It
would have
just
been
fits
shorter at
Yusei
least.
exceptionally well, nailing that blend of stoic strategist and hopeful optimist. Even
That is one way to phrase it, yeah.
That's
I would say he's a
naive
fucking piece of
retard.
cardboard that always just spouts about Kizuna, Nakama,
Yeah,
Shattelite,
he is nothing but platitudes.
yeah,
Literally nothing,
nothing
but
but
that. And
platitude
what's
sums up the entirety of Yusei's character. I mean, he's not as bad as Crow in his actual sophistry, but yeah.
Oh yeah, bro, he's like actually, he's literally a criminal and should be a criminal. For
So
the
is
shit he
Yusei.
says. like, bro is like the best argument against free speech you can think of.
If 4Kids edits butchered the character's best moments. And
Yusei had good moments.
Oh,
But no, honestly, what would you say
you
the best
beat me to
moment?
it.
it made Jack
No, I'm
Atlas
not
a
even being serious.
Yeah,
Sincerely,
did you
what are
say
Yusei's best moments?
like I can't, yeah, same. I can't pinpoint a point of character progression for Yusei. He really doesn't have any. He stays the same. Sometimes he falters, and then some characters is like, "Hey, pick up, do that." He's Saturday morning cartoon sums it up pretty well. He's like the Saturday morning cartoon hero. He's always the fucking same. Which is ironic because Jane actually had a character arc.
He did, yeah. He even had a thing of like, no, I can't use fusion again. Fine, I'll just kill you.
Yeah, he went from the fun-loving guy that doesn't care to, you know, a bit more serious.
Like that's one of my favorite parts of the new Bell duel, where he gives up on talking to her. He's like, no, I've tried. I fucking tried talking to you, and you don't listen. I'm just gonna kill you.
And then he keeps that attitude. He's just like, I'm fed up with your bullshit.
Literally, like before when he would like respond to her, he just stops. He just goes, Neos, direct attack, go.
Yeah, it's so good. Thank you.
Great.
Last arc of GX. There is some good shit in there. And Mr. T.
Mr. T, yes.
Oh. It's still silly and goofy, but it now has a good protagonist.
I wish the others could say that. I really do. I wish the original Yu-Gi-Oh could say that.
Like,
Because
Yugi is a very whatever character. Yusei is a piece of cardboard with platitudes like written onto it. And I haven't watched anything else. I kind of like Playmaker from what I've seen from him in Duel Links.
Yeah, I like Playmaker. He has actually some really good lines in Brains that I won't spoil because they're actually nice.
Oh, neat. Can't wait through more garbage to get it.
No, Zeal's not garbage. It's a mixed bag.
Oh, that's a massive step up.
And then Arc 5 is that one is an attack on my soul because it could have been so good.
Cockney Brit. How can you not love that?
Delivery!
I don't think so. I ordered the cut.
What the fuck is with that voice?
Yeah, they made him English for some reason. It was
Pound chicken
weird.
with a side of soup. You nincompoop! That's our store delivery, not your lunch. Beat it!
That's why, despite everything I say going forward being in reference to the original Japanese version, I'm going to primarily rely on the English names and terms, since that's what I was raised on. And let's be real.
It's the same reason why I usually say Jade instead of Judah, because that's what I know.
Yeah, that's fair. As long as it's like, why? Oh, it's just what I'm more used to. Okay, as long as I know what you're on about, that's cool. Use what you want, bro.
But I will not call him Zane, he's the Hellkaiser.
He is Hellkaiser to you. Thank you very much.
I mean, I will call him Cyrus, though. Cyrus Truestep is what he deserves to be.
He does deserve.
And also, Chumley Huffington is just a 10 out of 10. That's a great name.
That's actually so based.
But not Manjame. Manjame! Thunder!
I'm even fine with Chaz Thunder, like they called him in fucking Duel Academy.
Chaz
That's
is a good name because it's close to Chad.
Exactly.
Should have actually just called him Chad Thunder.
Literally.
D-Hwheel just doesn't have the same ring that Duel Runner has.
I mean, they're both bad.
They're both bad, yeah. Like,
but it's very funny they can't fucking pronounce D-Wheel.
That is hilarious.
Like, if Duel Runner would actually, they could pronounce that at least.
Some of them.
So, yeah. Duel Runner. Sorry. I hold back my racism, but I'm sorry, it's true.
I'm gonna just use D-Wheel because it's shorter than Duel Runner, that's all.
That's true.
Expedient.
D-Wheel. Sorry, D-Wheel.
Exactly, they do the hua
The
noise
fucking,
like
the
that.
fucking, just imagine the H before it isn't there. It doesn't belong. D-Hwheel.
Which nicely brings me back around from that
Yo, Aki! Nice
Nice
tits!
tits.
earlier
That's
detour
my entire
into
commentary on it.
that is also the biggest commentary you can make on a character.
5D's own world building. As I already mentioned,
Oh,
an
don't talk about
extremely
the world building,
ever-present
it's so
theme
bad.
Let's not touch on it. Just don't touch. Oh no, it's the entire section. Ooh, ho,
Oh,
ho,
jeez,
ho.
bro. Ooh.
Ooh, ho, 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 ho.
early on in
We're gonna have to
5Ds
pause
is
a lot.
classism and discrimination, as it is riddled throughout its world building. The main setting for the series is split across 2 areas.
What's not? That's in the first arc and then never after. Shitty and Shattelite.
First, you have New Domino City, a functional utopia where the well-off citizens go to stadiums to watch duels transformed into the Talladega, and turbo duelists perform for their ravenous fans.
Show us some butthole or something! What are we doing? Butthole! Butthole!
Absolutely cutthroat. And then there's the Shattelite, a slum island off the coast of the city, rife with urban decay, where the poor and criminals.
And do you know why they're poor and criminal?
Because
It's their fucking culture. That's
literally, no, that's literally why they choose
it's
it.
full of urban decay. It doesn't need to be, though.
Like literally, if Yusuke spent half the time improving the infrastructure he did on his fucking bike, it'd be a lot nicer
That he
place
spent
to
the
live.
time on fucking conquering the other territories in gang wars.
Yes. If Team Satisfaction had like actually done anything to improve people's lives, maybe it would be better. Maybe. I doubt it.
Yeah, no, I don't think the Shattelites are fixable.
They
are
aren't.
left to waste away with 0 established ways to move up to New Domino.
Like, I love the fact it just says the poor and criminal. Yet, have you ever thought about why they're poor and criminal? It's not because they're like oppressed or anything. It's just because I don't know. I guess they just wanted so.
Especially in the case of the criminal, it's like, oh, we never see people do any criminal acts that bad. It just cuts to like Kiryu fucking killing cops. Like,
yeah, it's like, no, these people are fucked, bro.
A lot of them deserve to be there.
I'm just saying they're not helping themselves.
It's like, oh, Yusei was sent there wrongly. He broke the law like 3 times. Like, oh no, dog. Like,
with the only thing connecting the two being a pipeline for the city to send over its garbage. Whether you're born there or a criminal that was kicked out of the city and left to rot, you are satellite scum for the rest of your life, only meant to recycle and process trash being fed in from New Domino.
I mean, they do get to keep that though, don't they?
Yeah, they do, because that's what they use.
Yeah, which is then like,
And that's the thing.
So I mean, it's their trash, yes, but they are basically gifting you free resources. I'm just saying, because they don't really govern you at all. You're
That's
kind of your own
exactly
thing.
the point I was gonna say. It's like they aren't even forced to work. Yusei fucks around all day.
Yeah.
Like literally, like that. Jack spent all his time before he moved to Shitty just sitting in a dark room in his throne.
Like these guys right here, that are the Shattelites that actually try to help themselves.
Yes.
And then there's like people like Yusei, and who's just fucking around all day and commits crimes.
Can we like literally see in the scene right after this? There are 3 guys who are like,
Yep.
"What's the point in working? You just steal from others."
Yep.
Like literally, it's a culture problem.
It's literally just their culture. That's what they do. They like it.
Their goal was to build a bridge so they could steal from Shitty.
Like, come on, Nick.
Technically, the satellite has only existed for approximately 17 years by the start of the series.
17 years?
Fuck, they kept it that bad for 17 years. Good lord.
Jesus Christ. Germany was rebuilt in less than that.
When a new NRD reactor, the D stands for dueling, went critical, causing the area to break off from New Domino. But that hasn't stopped those from the satellite being treated with the same public disdain as someone announcing their new investment in NFTs.
Yeah, but that's because they're fucking criminal scum.
Wait, no, that's exactly what I was saying. You say things that he's a criminal in this scene. They see the fucking thing on his face. They're reacting to him being a criminal, and then Bomber says, "No,
Bomber.
even if you're a criminal, as long as you're a duelist, it's fine." No?
Which is an interesting tournament rules, but
Immediately, the series establishes this contrast in its setting with the dichotomy of our two main protagonists.
Yes, it does that, but it does it incredibly poorly.
And
It's just like,
nothing
these are the
good.
poor and downtrodden, and these are the rich ones that haven't, like, implying that there's some sort of injustice going on, but there isn't really. That's the
Because
problem.
especially because you could use the Jack thing of like, oh, he hasn't earned his place here, which is what they try to do later on with the Godwin rigging duels. But it's very clear that his duels aren't rigged. Like Mukuro clearly wanted the W every time they dueled. So
Yeah.
they don't even do that.
They try to do it, but they do it very poorly. Because
Well,
the
you're
series
right,
is just kind of awful.
They do try doing it, it's just they keep contradicting themselves.
Yes, they're just really bad at it.
Protagonists,
Very bad for
Yusei
duels.
Fudo and Jack Atlas. While Jack is living high in New Domino City as the reigning king of turbo duels, cheered on by adoring fans and signing movie deals, Yusei is left in the Satellite, salvaging enough scraps to put together a working duel runner that can get him out of there before he's caught by sector security.
Instead of trying to, I don't know, improve Satellite.
Made up-
No, he just thinks about how he can run away from there and leave them
It's not
behind, leave
that,
behind
it's
every
not-
responsibility.
No, it's not even that. It's he wants to go to Shitty to get his card back. That's
yeah.
all he
Oh,
cares
he-
about.
actually,
Other than actually improving the
he's just like,
city,
this
he just
fucker
wants-
stole from me.
Literally, he just wants to fucking Stardust. He needs that negate, goddammit.
And then there's obviously he's just like, no, it's because of our Kizuna, my Nakama.
Yeah, literally, it's a copium. It's like, no, you just wanted your negate back. Shut up, Ego. Like, I know
And
you.
it's this contrast that's the initial
You're an
driving
effect
force of the
fellow.
story. Years ago, Jack stole Yusei's Stardust Dragon and first duel runner back when they were friends so that he could get into New Domino. And now Yusei has to work his way up to the city to even things out. But that's more complicated than it initially sounds. And here's where we
It's
get into
not.
the
It's
He beats up
really not.
Ushio 3 times and then does a jump.
Yeah.
Very easy.
It's just like, oh no, he has to face such hardships. Does he?
Like, it could have been really interesting. Like, there's like a, for example, let's say there's a like a fucking duel program or like league that let's see, like, if you win that league, you can like get to Shitty and participate in a tournament where you get to face off against the king. That could have been interesting. So we actually see Yusei work his way up from the bottom, but they didn't do that.
Yeah, imagine them doing something that interesting. Couldn't be
You know,
5Ds.
actually portraying the themes of your series through what happened. You know, that'd
Yeah,
be,
imagine.
that'd be cool.
Themes are implied.
deeper
They're
stuff with
implied.
5Ds. You see, in a world where card games are the center of everything, even being included in the school curriculum, those in the Satellite are completely limited from any opportunities a good deck could provide for them by the very nature that cards
Are they limited from rebuilding their fucking home store?
And that's the thing, they also aren't, because Yusei runs Effect Vela. Like, no.
Yeah, that's a pretty good card. Where the
You're
fuck did he
full
get
of
that? Where the fuck did he get Stardust Tree? Oh yeah, his father gave him too, right?
But that's the thing, Yusei's deck is better than Jax's, I'd say, at the beginning. And yeah, he's meant to be broke, so it's just...
Also, he never
Either
changes
Jack-
it anyway, so... I
Yeah,
don't
so
know,
it's
bro.
either So it's either Jack runs shit cards for no reason, which doesn't show your theme very well, or Yusei has good cards, which contradicts what you're saying.
Yep. Almost like the
Yeah,
series is
fuck.
stupid or something.
It's very
aren't
bad.
easily accessible there. Without things like card shops around or the finances to purchase them, those stuck on the island are left to scrounge for what few cards they can find in this near lawless wasteland, like
It's such
Yu-Gi-Oh
a funny
players doing trades
description.
at locals. This can be as simple as sorting through New Domino's trash for cards someone tossed out, to outright mugging others for theirs, making a
You say that. Don't like, you know,
I'm just like, who are the people here that are doing the mugging? It's not the people from Shitty. That's
Is
all I'm
it?
saying.
Isn't it? Is it? Huh? Who's oppressing who here?
usable deck an extremely precious resource. Well, it seems like
Shattelite
these are
on
ultimately
Shattelite
minor
violence.
details in a story where all the characters have perfectly
That's
put
what
together
Shat
decks.
time.
It actually goes far to explain the sheer emotional attachment those from the Satellite have with their cards. Yusei's belief that there are no useless
Oh
cards
yeah, that's
doesn't come from the
Kiryu had
same
his Infinity cards before he died. That's a
He had
really
fucking
bad.
infinities! What the fuck? The strongest meta deck in the game! He's like, all Shatelites don't have good cards. My ass, they don't!
You're full of shit, nigga.
idealistic sentimentality that previous protagonists have, but from someone who spent years building their deck from cards others thought weren't worth keeping. Hence
Who
the
the
extra
fuck
meaning
would
behind his
this
archetype
fucking
of
what was
choice
keeping?
actually being junk. Monsters that are designed as weak on their own until they're pieced together effectively. His deck might be made up of cards others tossed out that he was able to.
Which is very strange because Scrap Iron Scarecrow is actually like pretty decent for the time.
Someone chucked out effect Velo. Like, dog, I don't know what to
Not
say.
the effect that
scrape together, but it's incredibly sentimental to him, which is understandable in a place like the Satellite, where the way many orphans are left to learn their reading and arithmetic is from the cards they've found in the trash.
This fucker has DD Crow?
Literally, who chucked out DD Crow? Who did this?
Ignoring the implication that any Yu-Gi-Oh player actually reads their cards. But even if someone can scrounge up a
They sure don't in the show.
decent deck, dual
You
runners
say
are
never
something else
triggered
entirely.
You say he triggered Junk Synchron's effect a total of like 10 times in the 154 episodes.
I am also a big fan of the fact whenever he normal sums it and just doesn't activate the effect despite having targets.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't activate it. It's like no.
He doesn't even know how to play his fucking gun.
Turbo duels may have become a pastime for the citizens of New Domino, but runners are effectively non-existent in the Satellite. At best,
Because
only
of a
glimpsed through
certain asshole later on that we find out about.
televised matches from the stadium on the few working TVs left lying around. Yusei is one of the few shown to own a runner because he was able to put it together himself, with scraps lying around the Satellite, and the personal know-how he developed over years of trial and error working with auto mechanics. Hence why Jack stealing the first one they built together was such a betrayal. It's not exactly like he can call up his insurance.
And also, he chucked a kid in the water.
You-
So, you know, it's pretty shitty too.
Listen, stealing his fucking bike and card is way worse than that.
Yeah, it's like his child almost died, but it was Rally, so who really cares?
I mean, that's a fact as well, yeah.
Underline the irony of all of this, dual runners are the only way shown that people are able to leave the Satellite and escape to New Domino. Meaning,
I mean, they could, like, swim.
Get a boat.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that would probably be easier than a fucking motorbike. You know, just plank of wood. It's not that far, actually, you know?
It would be even better. Just rebuild the city.
Yeah, but no, that's just out of the question to me, please.
You're right, I'm sorry. You have to leave behind the problem rather than...
Exactly, you have to leave behind problems rather than fix them. That's
We
exactly
need
what the show is saying, also in the final arc.
We need to give those motherfuckers from City. We have to get those pricks. Give them our resources. They've stolen our resources from us. We need to get them. We will
meaning they
force them
both
to
diametrically represent privilege and freedom. Oh, but just in case the veiled messaging of all this was too subtle, on top of it all, everything from decks to dual runners in Satellite are actively suppressed by sector security. Wouldn't want the riffraff getting any ideas. Sector security
But they do plan to steal, though. They literally do. Security's right.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like, it's not a conspiracy to say the Shatelites are a criminal scum. They are.
They are. That was the intent with which they built the bridge.
That's what I mean with 5Ds is, you know, it tries to like paint this picture, but it paints it so badly that it actually turns out the opposite.
Like, if fucking Satellites were portrayed by any race, it would be decried as the most racist series ever.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Oh my god.
Patrols through the island, less to protect and serve, but to make sure those in Satellite stay in Satellite, resulting in the citizens forming their own dual gangs as a form of self-protection. And that eventually...
Yeah, that's also totally what I would call it.
That's correct.
Also, really, that they're just doing their job as law enforcement. We never actually see them like bullying people for no reason or something. Not really.
Not really that I can think of. Like, the dicks about it when they find a criminal, but no,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, they're rough cops, but they're not like abusing their power.
I mean, unlike Jack, where I didn't see Ushio chuck a kid in the water on a shallow boat, like, or
Yeah.
fucking small boat. I didn't see that, though. Like, I'm just saying.
Actually escalates to
Yeah. Yeah, Kitty's a bastard.
like I've been saying.
I love Kitty. I
Sorry.
love
You
Kitty
did.
so much.
It's
He
a
I'm just saying, who started with the killing? Was it the cops or was it the fucking Shattelite?
rough area. And for those caught breaking the law in Shattelite or New Domino, like stealing back cards from Sector Security or playing an Eldritch deck, they're taken
Okay,
to
if
the
that's
facility,
legal,
where they're painfully
shitty.
branded with face tattoos that both act as a tracking chip and a permanent marker of someone's criminal past. Even after they've
Oh yeah, they act as a tracking, but that was also forgotten about like half the series, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They're like, we
completely.
can't find you, say, just ask Sector Security, I don't know, bro.
Like half of you are like literally Jack's Goon is in it. That one of Jack's harem is in it, and fucking Ushio hangs out with you guys all the time.
Yeah,
They can find pretty easily.
shouldn't be that hard, really.
served their time in prison.
They could have found the
So
kitty
those
was
facial
using that.
Oh yeah, he's
would've-
marked! What
What
the
the fuck?
fuck? Thanks for reminding me of a plot hole in the series. Oh god, thanks Foxgate, really.
Markings
Oh,
aren't simply a way to
man.
give a bit of visual flair to the character's design. It's an in-world tagging system for prisoners that publicly marks them as a criminal for life. And
As
I
it
hope
should.
I don't have to explain why that's a
Nice.
tad fucked up. Through its multiple
No, it's not.
Please do explain. Kitty is a cop killer. I feel like people should know they're around a cop killer. I think that's fair information.
Convicted murderer.
systems,
Literally.
from a lack of a proper education system to hostile law enforcement, those of Shattelite are made to be systematically trapped there with no way
Okay,
out.
okay. No one's stopping them from opening up schools. No one's doing
Literally
that.
no one, they're just not doing it.
They just do
Like, that's the
nothing.
thing that the series needs to show, that like, they like, when they try to rebuild or like open any business, that they're getting shut down by the shitty. That's what they needed to show, but they didn't. So now it just looks like they're fucking sitting around all day on their asses.
This is the doing.
And also we are shown that they just sit around on their ass. Like, yeah, that doesn't work. The Shatterlites are just scum.
In fact, the sole reason Yusei is allowed into New Domino to participate in the huge Fortune Cup being held is that Rex Goodwin, the director of the city,
Godwin.
suspects
name
that
is so
he's a
much
Scion,
funnier.
one of the 5 predestined heroes intended to save the world. If it wasn't for that,
That's not what the Shignas are.
Yeah. They're the servants of the fucking Crimson Dragon to kill the fucking mean people.
Yeah. And then they just get to keep the power until the dragon realizes two arcs. Wait, that's my. Give that back.
That's actually the funny thing. In the Zonarch, it's the very opposite of protecting the world. They're choosing this one city over the world.
Yeah.
Yusei would still be getting electroshock treatment in the facility after initially getting caught by Sector Security escaping into New Domino to settle his score with Jack. Thank the Crimson Dragon for main character privileges. What
Fuck
makes this
off,
all
Crimson
even
Dragon,
more
I hate
insidious
you.
is
You
when it's
took it back
revealed
too
that this
late.
segregated hierarchy is largely manufactured by Goodwin himself, who admits that the Zero Reverse event that originally separated Shattelite from the mainland also freed the Earthbound Immortals, ancient evil deities heralding the King of the Netherworld, thus making Shattelite the future battleground for their 5,000-year war against the Crimson Dragon's signers. If the people of the Shattelite
Don't forget that this series is very serious. Not goofy in the slide.
Like, that's like that sort of description sounds cool. Of like, yeah, this fucking land has been awoken as an ancient battleground for a fucking demon army versus like the chosen heroes. It's like, okay, that could be really fucking cool. And then you remember, oh yeah, it was 5Ds. Damn.
And also, man, all the commentary on the classism with the fucking battle shown.
were allowed to migrate over, that would simply move the battleground to New Domino, as the Earthbound Immortals require a massive amount of souls to manifest. So Goodwin's solution was just to isolate everything to that one area through systematic discrimination and dehumanization.
No, imagine if he was well written
very-
and he's making the fucking utilitarian argument of like, listen, there are more people in shitty. I hate that these guys have to die, but it's either them or like more people. Please help me out. That could have been really cool.
Also
But
dehumanization.
oh god.
Let's say utilitarian approach intended to limit casualties by effectively making the citizens of Shattelite resources for a proxy war they didn't agree to be part of. Because
But the thing is, they're also not a big loss.
And that's the first thing. And the second thing is, it's not like the show doesn't even portray that, because what the show actually like shows is, what is your plan, Godwin? My plan could or could not involve Satellite. Where are my friends?
Oh, that fucking dialogue was so bad.
Literally a fucking like, it's like when you're playing a fucking Bethesda or Obsidian RPG and you're just picking the different dialogue options on the tree. It's literally that.
Yeah.
So fucking
fuck the
shit.
poor? And the funny thing is that this doesn't change the fact that the Earthbound immortals still make their way into New Domino regardless, making the multiple layers of oppression ultimately redundant, because existential horrors don't discriminate. You think the writers were trying to say something about the futility of classism or something? This
Also, that's not why. So they showed up in New Domino because one Archie was there. So, like that's why she went there initially. And second of all, Carly was made there, so when she died, she just came back instantly. The first thing, and then they went back to fucking Shattelite so they could use the fucking old momentum or whatever the fuck. That's literally why they were there. You're just leaving out details because it does make sense that they're there, and it has nothing to do with the fucking theme of the show or whatever.
What theme?
Classism, bad.
The attempt at the embarrassing attempt at like a message, yeah.
what I meant when I said 5Ds had so much going on beyond the motorbikes.
I know, you're just adding it to the show. You're making it up on behalf of the show.
No, he's ignoring parts of the show that actively contradict everything that it might have been trying to say.
Yeah, okay, that's
By so firmly rooting its story in a world of haves and have-nots, and how that environment affects the character's place within it, 5Ds creates a world that isn't just grim, but layered. This isn't just good by Yu-Gi-Oh standards, this is marvelous world building, period.
You have no standards.
That physically hurt.
And no brain. I'm sorry. You are a fucking idiot.
And totally not reflective of real world issues. That'd be
It's not.
crazy.
Okay, it's not unless you want to say that the fucking stuff, or unless you really want to go there with Chicago posting, then you know.
Okay. If you want to go there, Foxcat, I'm not touching that.
No, with a 10-foot fucking pole. You'd have to pay me to go there. God damn, brother.
Characters proper yet, because the setting is such an integral part of understanding the story being told, using these grittier yet grounded social issues as a way to frame its characters, rather than just some set dressing. But now that we've set the stage...
It is just set dressing, I'm sorry. They wanted the fucking ghetto aesthetic, that's about it.
That's what they want. They want Yusei to be punk so bad, and he's the lamest guy ever.
He's not even a punk, he's just a fucking clown.
He's not nothing.
Oh yeah, in the first arc he was like actually anti-establishment posting, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
After the second arc he joined the establishment, so yeah. So,
like, you remember he called like Ushio a fucking dog of like security or something like
he
that?
does.
Yeah.
There were that part of his character just kind of vanished.
The minute he became king, yeah.
the minute he started earning his own money. Just like in real life.
Let's get to the actors involved. Looking at the cast of 5Ds, you'd be forgiven for thinking it's simply exporting characters from its previous series. You got main character with a Jersey Shore salon worth of hair gel on their head.
But they're nothing alike. They're not even like visually like it, man. All of the hairstyles are an accident, sure. That's
yeah, I guess.
So that's a commonality, I guess.
Cool jacket, I guess.
Yeah.
What's with the orb? You're like an odd eye.
What is with the orbs actually? Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Rival who has a lot of specific art with the MC.
I was gonna go. He has a long white coat. That's the
Yeah, that's
similarity I
more
was
of an
gonna
obvious
make.
similarity, brother.
What the fuck?
But sure, go for the Yuri. That's I
Okay,
guess that's
tell on yourself then. That's
yeah.
up to
It's
you.
interesting that you know that fact. I don't know. Just saying.
Also, I'm gonna say GX did the most unique with like all three of Jin's rivals. You can break them into three of them because it's Thunder, Ed Phoenix, and his arc, and Kaiser. It's all of them don't look like Kaiba remotely at all. Like they actually have their own designs going on. It's actually really cool.
Chill best friend, the
And
girl
even
love
Mr. T, who's his rival in the last arc.
interest, the child prodigy who never actually does much.
Is that who's that supposed to be?
Who's that? In, I don't know who that would be.
In either Duel Monsters or Jax, really. Who's that supposed
No
to be?
one. No
Unless
one.
he's referring to Cyrus?
But Cyrus isn't a genius. He's a fucking
Yeah,
idiot.
that's what I mean. But
He
Cyrus is
lucks out.
extremely incompetent, even canonically.
And Leo. But I think what makes 5D's characters stand out is actually the level of maturity with how they're
Oh, don't go there, brother.
Please go there. I'm fascinated. Go ahead.
Oh,
please.
Jesus.
Pretty
handled.
please.
Whether it's Crow acting as the big brother to a group of orphans in the Shattelite, or
The
That was handled so surface level though.
Yeah, he's just like, I fight for them kids.
Literally, that's it. If you had to drink every time he said that, you'd lose your liver so fucking soon. Oh my god, it'd be horrible.
He didn't even say that often, but that's just because Crow isn't in much of the show.
He says it every time he's on screen.
that's more like
That's what I mean.
Which audio isn't that often though.
Or Yusei's deep-seated guilt that his father's NRD reactor melting down is the reason
He
his
has
childhood
that?
friends.
I don't think that ever came up.
Like, no.
Maybe the show was too subtle for me.
And then also, let's say he did have that, that's completely negated by Zone saying that he did 0 of those.
Yeah.
So it's not even on Yusei's death.
Yeah.
So that guilt is like really meaningless.
Were orphans.
Thanks, Zone.
There's a subtle nuance to the characters that makes them feel fleshed out beyond their archetypes.
No, I disagree completely. I remember
So we're just not going to talk about Judah, are we? Because oh man, he's losing instantly. But
and then like, what I was gonna say was like, remember when the first arc where we actually couldn't figure out what the fuck Jack's personality even was?
yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, probably because the writer also had no fucking clue. It was just kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And I don't think any better reflect this than Jack Atlas and Akiza.
Oh no,
Oh
those
no. These
No,
are actually
Aki-
the two worst. I mean,
That's fair.
Crow works. I give it to Crow. I fucking hate him, but he works.
Like that's the thing. Aki's very consistent. It's just the show doesn't realize what they've written with her.
Yeah,
they
and
don't realize
Jack is
what they've
just kind of,
done.
oh, I'm the big strong. Oh, I lost.
Like, am I really a king? No, I'm a fake king. Oh,
But then
he
there was
hangs
the
out with
episode
Carly.
with Carly, which was, oh.
Yeah, that's what I was going to reference. It's like, then he hangs out with Carly for an hour, and it's like, there's something more important than this, and you help me find this person who I've known for an hour.
Oh god, oh my, I guess we're talking about fucking Arky now.
Now, as much as I adore Seto Kaiba and his petty rich kid antics, I'd argue Jack Atlas actually edges him out as the better rival character. At least,
I mean, you're wrong. None of them are good rivals because they're both jobbers. So
Yeah.
they're not threatening. You never worry about if the protagonist is actually gonna win this time. And I guess the best rival I can think of in the series up until like 5Ds would probably be Kaiser because he beat Judai, then tied with him. So like if they were ever to duel again, it'd actually be like, okay, I don't know who's gonna win this one.
from
Spoiler, it's probably Kaiser.
Yeah, probably Kaiser. Like,
a writing perspective. From living as an orphan growing up to spending years trying to survive the cutthroat streets of...
Oh yeah, remember the fucking Hook dual disc duels?
yeah.
That like were in the flashbacks, and what was the point?
I feel like security should use those. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
He's very useful.
Satellite,
And don't bother with
you
the
get a
dueling
clear
content.
picture of why
Just
Jack
watch
would
him.
have this massive chip on his shoulder about wanting to prove that he's the best. Like, if I lived as a second-class citizen where I was viewed as scum by the upper class as they sent me their trash to recycle, I'd probably develop an inferiority complex and feel the need to prove myself too. With all that accounted for, it's easy to understand why, when Rex Goodwin reached out to help him get into New Domino and make him into the king he always imagined himself as, Jack jumped on the opportunity. Even if it
It's
meant
also
stealing his
like
best
would have
friend.
been really helped by the team satisfaction arc of us seeing now Kiryu, the person he respected most, is gone, and he feels like he has nothing more to work towards. So now he turns his sight to shitty. That would have been really cool if we got the team satisfaction arc.
But we
Very
didn't.
annoyed by that.
Yay.
Friend's card and dual runner to do so. Once in the city, his ego was then consistently inflated
Shitty.
as he was marketed as the king of turbo duels to the public.
No, the
Goodwin
king of duelers.
manufacturing a backstory where he was raised in the tops of New Domino in order to guarantee that he's accepted by the fans, as there's no way he'd be accepted as a valid champion if they actually knew where
You
he
say
came
was
from.
accepted
And
as a valid champion,
Yeah,
despite the
that's also
people
things like,
who-
oh, they're so discriminatory against people of Shattelite. No, they really don't give a shit, to be honest. They don't care that much.
You say is a POC person of crime.
Yeah, that's what they care. It's like, what the fuck? This guy's a convicted criminal. Why is he even allowed?
That's literally the issue, right? It's like Yusei's a criminal, and then they immediately accept him when he beats Jack, so Jack had nothing
Yeah.
to worry about. It's really funny.
It's very strange.
Like if that was intentional on the show's part of like, look, Jack, you had nothing to worry about. You were so stupid for getting caught up in like this classism. If that was its point, then yeah, that'd be something, but it's not.
It would
It
also be
never
very
even
ironic
makes
to all the
that.
fucking video essays like this clown making this point.
Yeah.
But just actually the people of shitty don't care about the people of Shatterlights. It's the Shatterlights that hold a grudge against them.
Honestly, if the show portrayed that well, that'd been far more interesting.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
That's what makes his fall from grace that much harder when he inevitably loses to Yusei.
He died, by the way.
CGI fall
That
from
killed him.
grace.
Having lost his title in front of the masses and his true origins as a satellite citizen made public, Jack is utterly humiliated. Largely dismissed by his former fans, he's then left to re-examine everything he gave up.
Yeah, dismissed by his former fans who now idolize Yusei, who's also from Satellite.
And also, that's also wrong because they do cling to him still. Like every time he shows
Yeah.
up, his
Also,
fans-
whenever Jack Atlas goes anywhere, they're like, yo, Jack Atlas
What?
based! Yo,
Atlas,
Jack
no!
Atlas!
God!
in pursuit of being king.
Like,
he
I
walks across the
remember when his fans actually left him when he was accused of killing people. When the
Yeah.
real Jack Atlas showed up, that's when
The
they left.
real Jack Atlas. Oh, hell yeah.
Waters to his former home that he left behind. For all his boasting about being the master of faster over the years, he couldn't back it up when it mattered, forcing him all the way back to square one. And that's why Jack is a great rival character. Not just because he's a
Because he got chopped instantly?
Yes.
Okay.
In both. Well, actually, he won that first duel, but no one wants to talk about that.
pompous snob dead set on taking Yusei down a peg, but because he threw away everything to prove that he's the best, and learned the hard way that it wasn't worth it. And then there's
No,
Kizuna.
he learned the hard way that he's not the best. That's what he
That's what he learned.
Like, if he
Now-
had won, he would have been vindicated.
Yeah, kind of, you know?
Kiza's an interesting character within this franchise.
No,
No,
she's
she
not.
really isn't. She's
She really
very
isn't.
bland. And
She's one note. That's the best way
Yeah.
to describe her.
I don't know. Out of like one note, that's more so you say. But Aki's is more like shit, so and I don't mean in universe. I mean her writing wise. So it's like I am an insane psychopathic murderer. Like actually, she does that out of choice.
For fun.
Yes, she enjoys it. She actively says it. She just like the point that she's making is like, oh, I have regrets. Is to mask the fact that she's actually finding it super fun, and the series just ignores that conveniently going further in because it's kind of fucked.
That's what, because they realized it initially, right? Where Yusei goes, then why are you smiling? And she's like, what the fuck? I'm smiling. And then she like the episode afterward, they turn it to they're forcing me to be this. It's their fault. I'm like this. It's like, What happened to last episode when you didn't even realize you were enjoying it?
Yeah. Which actually would have been a way more interesting character, by the way. If she was actually a genuinely good person, but she just is a complete sadist, that would actually be way more fun. Because everyone says like, haha, we're gonna take like the sweet damsel in distress, she can't fight back, and she just fucking cruelly starts killing them. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch? And she would be about as likable, that's the fun part.
Yeah.
But she would be a lot more fun.
She isn't an antagonistic rival that gradually gets swayed to the protagonist's side. She isn't a cheerleader.
An antagonistic rival. Okay.
With no actual dueling ability. Akiza
With no actual dueling ability.
No, he's saying what she's not.
This is a girl with deep-seated trauma due to her psychic powers.
With extremely stupid trauma, yes.
What the fuck? You almost killed me. Oh no, I didn't mean it. Sorry. My bad.
And then she runs away and holds it dead as against them for like, yeah, her entire life. It's just, you Aki, that's on you. That's on you, Aki. You're just being unreasonable.
That she can't fully control. And after feeling rejected by
Oh no, after feeling rejected, why was she feeling rejected? She saw them enjoying themselves and immediately concluded, oh, they're happy without me around, they must hate me. I
will now destroy the house. Like this, like Aki's just incredibly fucking hateable. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bitch? And then it would make sense, just like, yo, oh yeah, causing destruction is the thing she jumps to, that's what she likes. Until you said, tells her, no, bad dog. Then she stops.
Like, this is the thing, in the scene, right? Her dad's face doesn't change. He's, like, still smiling. He gets up to go greet her.
He's just like, yo, Aki, and it's just like, fuck you!
Literally, it's the fucking Nero DT, fuck you!
Fuck you! Even her own parents fear of her abilities. She's adopted by the Arcadia
Rightly!
movements,
They rightly feared her!
Yeah, and they still accepted her! She rejected herself!
Literally, she rejected them and then gaslit herself into thinking they rejected her. It's so funny.
And then when they get to talk to and every time they get to talk, it's like, Aki, please come back, please, we miss you. Just like, you hate me. It's like, no, we don't, what the fuck?
Like, Dad fucking cocked down and just accepts everything she's saying so she'll come home. It's so fucking... God damn it, 5Ds.
Aki's just an unreasonable cunt.
Of psychic duelists. And like any good cult, takes advantage of an emotionally vulnerable person looking for a place to belong. By the time Akiza's introduced in the story, she's fully committed to a Black Rose Witch persona as a coping mechanism for the constant rejection she's had to endure due to her abilities.
That meme is perfect because she literally chose that. She literally did choose it.
Yep. It's not even a meme, it's just true. That's what she did.
Reinforced when she's repeatedly booed and antagonized at the Fortune Cup.
Because she keeps murdering people.
Why did they stop? Because she started killing people.
No, they booed her for no reason.
Literally. Satellite logic on God.
Bro, this video creator is a Shattelite. I smell it. I can smell the Shattelite scum.
Causing her to further retreat into her witch persona and the Arcadia movement. So, one of the many questions the audience is left with by the end of the first tournament is, will Akiza be able to escape this cycle of rejection?
No, I asked, can someone please kill her?
It's like, why are we letting her leave? Why just kill her? Someone.
Please, this is an insane psychopathic murderer.
He murdered the night guy like 10 minutes ago.
She did, and then the show never acknowledges that she just killed a man. Never ever. They just pretend she didn't, even though with the rules they explained how they work. No, she did just kill a man.
Rejection and reclusion that she's trapped in. I could honestly do this for every one of the main characters, but I think this gets my...
No, you can't. No, you can't.
You actually couldn't, don't lie.
You cannot. Period. Is he going to use the excuse like, oh, I'm pressed for time? No, it's not. It's your fucking video. Take as much time as you want.
Literally, that's my thing with these videos. I say, yes, I was watching this fucking shitty New
You're
Vegas
just too
video,
lazy. Just fucking say it.
It's like this video is long enough. It's like then make it longer. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
Who-
Make it
who's
as long as you think
stopping
it should be. Like, if you... Like, don't say regrettably, I would love to include this point, but it's too long. It's like, who said that?
Yeah, literally, it's like you're not giving your best work then. If you're leaving out points you think are valid, you are not doing your best. You need to do better.
Yeah.
As my favorite hero would say.
My point across. What's great about 5Ds is how surprisingly character-driven it is early on.
Or he just says he doesn't need it to get his point across, even though, you know, he just couldn't. Because there's nothing there.
There's depths of fear, trauma, remorse, and frustration in this cast that you might not expect at first glance that humanizes each one of them. Well, the story starts out
I
centered
never
around
once thought
Yusei
they
and
were
Jack's
human.
personal beef.
Especially at the beginning. You like with Jack, it's the most fourth wall breaking because it's just what the fuck is your arc? Where are you going with this? Who's writing you this week?
It's these characters are very, very surface level.
And Yusei becomes like the most consistent is the most consistent by far rather because he literally just Kizuna Nakama. That's it.
Yeah. Kizuna Nakama, fuck the government. Oh, I guess the government's fine. Kizuna Nakama.
Kizuna Nakama is like, shitty.
Shitty.
There you
Shattelite.
That's simply used as a jumping off point as each signer is established and the scope of the world is widened, eventually pulling them into the fight with the Dark Signers. And if you think this
Dark
level of
Shigness.
character writing is exclusive to the protagonists,
You would be right.
Right. The one that's the most interesting, I guess, is like Kitty, which is like you fucking piece of shit, you sold me out. I came back from the dead to kill you.
Ah, good times. Well,
and
for
his
5D
fucking
standards.
psychotic laugh. I love him. I love his psychotic laugh. That you did him dirty.
well, you don't know why I'm doing this video. Now up to this
Oh, I do know why you're making this video, because you're fucking stupid.
A whole section of the Dark Shigness. Oh man, are we gonna talk about Monkey Guy? I remember Monkey Guy.
point,
Oh,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
we're going to talk about Bomber.
He
lengthy
was a
history
Dark
of villains.
Signo.
Maximilian Pegasus, American Israel
Pegasus J.
Hunters.
Crawford, thank you very much.
Yes.
His
Pegasus J.
Japanese-
Crawford.
It's so bad. It's such a funny name.
Oh! And with his famous last words, oh no!
Oh no!
Yami
Oh no!
Ubel, the Society of Light, the entire card selling market, the list goes on. But
Okay,
what makes
that-
the Darksiders
I'll
compelling
give you
villains
that
in their
one. You
own
gotta
right
chuckle out
is
to me.
that for the most part, they honestly aren't really villains. They aren't made to be cartoonish
They are, they
baddies
choose
with
to
evil
kill
motives
people.
purely
Like, they literally don't need to use the Earthbound Immortals every duel, they choose to.
Yeah.
They are the epitome of
No, I think what he's
evil.
saying is the other villains aren't villains. But these one are evil. I think what his actual point. I think it's
Okay,
the other way
rewind.
around. Yeah. Wait a second.
To this point, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has had a lengthy history of villains. Maximilian Pegasus, American Israel Hunters, Yami Bakura, Ubel, the Society of Light, the entire card-selling market, the list goes on. But what makes the Darksiders compelling villains in their own right is that for the most part...
Oh, no, he actually said it the other way around. Oh,
Exactly, yeah.
no,
Exactly,
the
it's like,
Darksiders
okay,
are incredibly evil.
They choose to kill, like,
They kill
countless
millions of people.
They choose to use the
They're
Earthbound
probably
Immortals.
the biggest on the villain scale so far. I mean,
Like-
maybe except you, but
Because, okay, we can actually go through the list because it's actually funny. It's like, okay, Pegasus, what did he
nothing.
kidnapped
Really?
Piper's brother and he
I
put
guess.
Yugi's grandpa in a tape.
Yeah.
Or a card.
For
Okay, yeah,
no reason really.
I guess that's mean. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he planned to give them back. Then
Yeah.
did he? I think I don't remember because I know.
I don't remember. It's Duel Monsters.
No.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, because that's the thing. 'Cause I think he was planning to kill them because he made it a shadow game every time he dueled. So like, I don't know. I don't know.
Uh,
With Marek, it's like, yeah, he's just comically evil, and he killed
Merrick
his,
is the definition of comically evil.
he killed his dad because his dad found out he was gay. And Bakura is literally evil. He's like a fucking demon god possessing the
Yeah.
Millennium, possessing the. I think he fused with the fucking Thief King, if I remember correctly. And that might be anime only, because in the manga it's
I don't know, I
explicitly.
didn't watch that for SSS.
Yeah. Oh,
Because it
okay,
was
okay.
shit.
I don't remember. It's been too long since I watched the Millennium.
And then it
Well
fell in the
done.
hands of some D&D nerd.
Yeah. I mean, it was always in the hands of D&D nerd, and then it just became, that again. Which is, by the way, probably my favorite final boss duel, just because it's not a duel. It's actually really unique. That's cool. And okay, then the GX villains. It's like first we had the Seven Stars, which
Oh
is
yeah, these
darkness,
guys.
comically evil, a pro wrestler turned actual magician. Like he has real magic now. The vampire bitch who is also pretty evil. Fuck, who else was in the set stuff? Don
Atticus.
Salute. Don Salute. He was a hero. He did nothing wrong. He was gooning. Like he actually avoided this fucking Shadow Games. He just tried stealing the key so he'd end it quickly.
Yeah.
Good guy Don Salute. There you go. Don Salute is the most human of all the Yu-Gi-Oh!
And
antagonists.
Professor Banner.
Who? Sorry?
Professor Banner was one of them.
Oh yeah, Banner too. Who why was he
With his wife or something.
yeah, he pegs this motivation, there we go. And then there's the old man who wanted to be young again, because to be fair, did you see that nigga when he was young? I feel it, bro. Come on, dog. I'd want it back too. Fair enough. Can't blame you. And there were also like no human victims either. It was mainly the cards. So like, oh no. Oh, cards are disappearing. Then Society of Light is
I mean, I
Sartorius
guess
is
they want to destroy the universe or something.
yeah, like it's objectively evil, sure, okay, and they're possessing Sartorius.
Also, they're fucking clowns, so.
Listen loses. And then you Belle, who's a yandere.
Yeah.
She just wanted her Bex to pay attention to her again, and oh boy did
So she captured his boyfriend.
And tortured his entire school.
Yeah, that she did.
Yeesh, lady.
Crazy bitch.
Juno's just into that though, I guess.
He's under his control now. That's fine.
And then this darkness, whose darkness and Truman, not fucking Mr. T, successfully killed the whole world. So
Yes.
that's pretty impressive. I guess those two are the most evil by like scale of acts committed.
Yeah.
But second place would easily be the Dark Shakeners, because the most like after that is like a school from Yubo, like a school of people versus
that got turned into zombie.
Thousands. Oh yeah, you're right. They got turned to dueling zombies, so it wasn't even serious.
It was just kind of silly.
Yeah.
And then Judah actually committed crimes.
What's the fucking how? Fucking
On the scale of Yu-Gi-Oh! Villains, how high ranks Judah?
Yeah, how Judah is probably like he might actually be the highest just because we don't get a scale for how big the dimension is and how long he's been killing for. He might be top one.
Yuki Judah are both the best antagonist and protagonist of the series.
Yes. And then the Dark Shakeners who are just definitely third place behind Judah in Darkness. Like
who just kind of want to kill everyone for no reason.
Literally. Darkness is like, I'm just kind of a
like that's the goal of the Hell Underworld King, isn't it? It's just kill everyone, lol.
Yeah, because fucking Godwin was like, I'm gonna reset like the world with fucking evil powers, yay.
God, the Dark Shane arc is so shit.
It's so bad.
They honestly aren't really villains. They aren't made to be cartoonish baddies with evil motives purely for the sake of world domination. At least deep down.
Oh no, they are for world destruction. Okay.
Because that's the thing. It's like, well, even when like those characters, like fucking Misty, is like, oh, I don't have any reason to beef with you. It's like the evil god shows up and is like, no, I will make you beef. Ooh, which is like, okay, well now you've taken away the character's agency. That's fucking lame.
lame. I think that's the word that describes 5Ds the best. It's so lame.
And it's always like
These are
the
characters
most
that have
silly
understandable
things.
motives, who died with regrets and anger in their heart.
No,
turned by
Bulma
the
is not
Earthbound Immortals
understandable
so
at
that
all.
they can
It's
seek
like
their
my
vengeance while
my
acting
fucking
as the
family was
gods'
killed
vessels.
for no reason. Let me
Except for
summon
Devin.
Earthbound Immortal and
I
kill
don't
a
know how
bunch of
Devin got through the
innocents for no
screening
reason.
process. To
Bulma.
quickly run down the list, you have Geiger, whose entire village was wiped out by Goodwin's experiments, and is hung
There's
by
Bulma.
Goodwin's brother after he fails to impale Rex at the Fortune Cup with a giant spike. Misty lost her brother to the Arcadia Movement's experiments before she drove off a cliff. Carly was a reporter killed by the Arcadia Movement after she found out too much. And Callan was the old leader of Yusei, Crow, and Jack's Duel Gang, until he took his goals of unifying Shattelite too far, and...
I love this clip so much.
leaving him to slowly rot in the facility where he was beaten and starved. These aren't black and white motivations, but characters...
They are not motivations, period.
Yeah, you've said the backstories, not the actual
Yeah,
motives.
these aren't motivations, period, good video creator.
Characters whose genuine
But
griefs
actually,
and
let's talk
struggles...
about Kiryu's motive. Kiryu's motive is, I'm going to kill Yusei because he's ratted on me. That's pretty black and white. Like,
Yeah.
very justified,
Very
basic.
white, very white.
It's Misty, I'm going to kill the fuckers that killed my little brother. Also pretty white, you know, I
okay.
understand that. Fair enough.
And also to do that, I will kill millions of people.
Oh, no. Let's not talk about
That's
that
kind of the
part.
issue with the Dark Signals. And to facilitate that, I will kill all the souls of the innocent in the area. Except the fact that you don't even need to do that, because you see the Dark Signals or summoning the Earthbots without like any sacrifices at all.
That happens plenty of times.
Which is like
Plenty of
okay, why
times.
do you do that? Do we just do it for fun?
Literally. And the best part is, you don't need the Earthbound Immortals.
Yeah,
They
they're
have a
shit
huge
anyway.
weakness. They all have a huge weakness of needing a field spell, and none of your decks rely on those.
Except Kiryu, because of speed duels.
Yeah, but he only did the speed duel with Yusei once, and the second duel was the second duel a speed duel. I don't remember. Yeah, it was a speed duel again. But even then, his deck is better off not using a shitty Earthbound Immortal.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Like,
were manipulated into something evil by darker forces in their final moments.
they weren't manipulated. They all chose it.
They still have free choice.
Literally, like when the god shows up to take away their choice, then yes. Beforehand, no. They actively chose to summon Earthbound Immortals and kill tens of thousands in the area. In Kali's case, it's the big one, and especially Kali, because she literally has a moment of, I mean, I killed the guy who killed me. I sold my beef, but I can just kind of go along with being a Dark Signa now. It's like, why, Jack? We could rule hell together. What?
Their
We
duels
could rule
against the
hell.
signers
It's
that
so
much
dumb.
more involving, because for most of them, there's history there. What I think is most interesting about the Dark Signers as antagonists isn't just that they're twisted innocents, but that
Kiryu was not innocent.
Kiryu went to fucking jail for murder. And then got killed in jail and came back from the dead to take revenge. How is he fucking innocent in any way, shape, or form? He's
Like,
bad to
almost-
the bone.
Bomber stopped being innocent the second he was like, I'm going to
The
work
second he
with
started
this
becoming an
lady."
actual bomber.
Literally, it's my guy. Like, honestly, she just chooses to be evil for no reason. Literally no reason. She
along
could
with
have easily just fucked off
No,
and
don't get it,
chilled
because
in
they're
the fucking
twisted by
bunker.
being Dark Signals. Despite the fact that you multiple see them, that they can do whatever they want. They're not just like being evil, I guess, lol.
Kiryu's exactly the same. He's probably my favorite example. He's just the same guy. Like,
That's just him, that's just Kiryu. That's just how he
Same with-
is.
Same with Lutka, fucking Rex's old brother. He's just the same guy. Like, come on, you're full of shit.
their own respective issues, their matches are
Bulma.
also used to force the signers to face their own past mistakes. Akiza might not have killed Misty's brother like she was led to believe, but she did cause plenty of damage
But she did kill that one guy in the tournament.
He did kill that guy. We ignore
as the
him.
Black Rose Witch in the past. Yusei didn't rat out Cal into sector security, but is there more he could have done to save him before he took things too far? And has
I
Jack
doubt
truly
it.
changed for the better, or is it simply because he's no longer king that he's had this change of heart? By making
It
them
is.
face off against representations of their past, the signers are equally tempted to fall back into their
Wait,
worst
how are they
emotions or
how are they
fears,
representations of
making
their
the Dark
past? What
Signers
the-
very
no,
real tests of their growth as
No, they're not.
characters. And
they're literally
ultimately,
not. We're
that's
just
what
not
makes
they're
a
just
good
not.
antagonist.
representations.
This entire arc, outside of the whole ancient battle for the fate of the world thing, is about how fixing things in the now requires acknowledging the mistakes of the past and reconciling with them.
Oh,
while
let's
also being
keep
about
that
how
in
larger
mind for this
powers are
Zodoc,
what ultimately
please.
pushes
Oh, yes. No, the past is right. You don't want. Who are you who have the right to change the
Yeah,
future?
no one has the right to change the past.
otherwise good people against each other. And is doing all this as characters are fighting
Otherwise, good people. Fucking Kiryu's not a good person.
Rutger's also not a good person.
Naya and Aki is also a piece of shit, but he's only in the dark sheet. She's just a piece of shit in general.
Yeah, she's just a normal shit, no. Like,
Oops.
and then there's the monkey guy.
I think
Yeah.
we lost nothing here. I just my microphone
The
voted.
monkey guy just chose to kill people with his earth on the moon, I guess. Oh, you're muted. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I assume it was.
No,
but
no,
no.
my microphone just fell on the thing.
Oh, I see.
But don't worry about it. Okay, I think I fixed it. Where were we?
There we are.
yeah, I think, yeah.
truly change for the better, or is it simply because he's no longer of their past? The signers are equally tempted to fall back into their worst emotions or fears, making the Dark
How is
Signers
you
very
safe?
real tests
Tempted
of their
to.
growth as characters.
Uh,
And ultimately, that's
maybe
what
there was
makes a good
something, but I forgot.
antagonist. This entire arc, outside of the whole ancient battle for the fate of the world thing, is about how fixing things in the now requires acknowledging the mistakes of the past and reconciling with them, while also being about how larger powers are what ultimately pushes otherwise good people against each other. And is doing all this
Except
as
Kid,
characters are fighting against the
Mhm.
literal manifestations of
Monkey Man.
gods being summoned by the souls of innocence. How cool is that? I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Has
I mean, it
touched
could
on
be
morally
cool.
complex villains in the past, but the scale and emotional depth between all the characters in
Emotional depth in the
Also,
dark
if
Shigna
you want
arc.
actual good complexity of like motivations, wait till you
Don't
get to
watch Yu-Gi-Oh!
Zeal.
Then just don't
Like,
watch
also,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
The closest we get to that is in Zeal. That's like the closest where it's like, yeah, that's actually totally reasonable. I absolutely get why you're doing this antagonist who I won't spoil. That's fair. Pop off.
Shigna.
5Ds takes it all to a whole new level.
Definitely.
And that's why it feels like the series wasn't planned to go past the Dark Signers. By the end of
No,
episode
No,
6,
you can make a period
Yeah.
of the series wasn't planned.
Yeah, that's exactly the joke I was gonna make, but it's not even a joke, it's just true.
It's just a fact.
That you
where all the characters'
you
arcs have
in.
more or less been completed, all the mysteries are effectively wrapped up, and the protagonists are left to
No,
ride off into the
actually,
sunset.
because fucking Iliasta are planned because they approached Godwin in this flashback. They did.
Yeah.
That did happen, so no, like you still have the mystery of what the fuck Iliaster is. That's actually fair. Like for the in the defense of the show, I'll say that.
Defense of 5Ds, imagine.
That's the one sentence Iliasta was planned. That's about it. That's the best I can
Yeah, an
give it.
organization called Iliaster was planned that does something in the shadows.
Yeah, that's all. That's the best I got.
on the new bridge.
Wasn't there also the plot point that I just forgot about? But I forgot what it was. There was some plot point I just forgot about at some point. I don't remember. I forgot about it as well.
Yeah, he'll probably bring it up by accident and remind
Yeah,
us.
that might
but-
be. Or maybe not. We'll see.
That
We'll
finally
see.
connects Satellite to New Domino now that the Earthbound Immortals
Now
are
they
no
can
longer
rob
a threat.
everyone.
Hell
Frankly,
yeah.
it feels like there's not much left to dig into from here. But we
I agree.
also have 90 episodes remaining.
Yeah, you just summed up 5Ds pretty well. Feels like there's not
nothing
much to dig in here for me, but we still have 90 episodes to go. Yep, I
There
agree.
was nothing to dig into in the first place
Yeah,
either,
yeah,
so...
I mean that's a different, but you know. All the water has been squeezed from the stone.
So how did they follow this up?
No, well, they didn't start well either, so...
Yeah.
Now, if you pay attention to discussions surrounding the show online, you...
Why would you do that? Why would you
Yeah,
ever do
I know.
that?
If there's one thing I'm not going to pay attention to the Yu-Gi-Oh community for, it's writing quality.
might get the impression that everything past the Dark Signer arc is hot garbage on a summer
It
day in
is.
Satellite.
It is.
Okay, he isn't even hot take. Everything in the Dark Side art is also
yeah,
hot garbage.
Everything before that point is also garbage. It's all garbage.
And I think that is a position that no one can fault you for, really. Because it's all shit.
All of it is bad.
Depending on who you talk to. But it's not quite that drop that you see in some other series.
I agree.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah, it was always shit. I agree.
So it got better at points, then he immediately backed down.
Yeah. Oh, the real Jack Atlas.
So real.
Hell
I love it. You both know what I'm talking about when I say it got better.
Of course, that's the only thing. That's the only time it ever got better.
Also, Jack beat up a
Jack.
Jack beat up a gang one time. That was funny.
Jack
That was
Atlang.
Yes.
But first, I'll go take a pee after we defeated half of this villain.
Okay, I'll do the same, actually.
Perfect. Missed potential. Oh, the entire video.
Oh, yeah. This should be the entire video, please, dude.
Time to continue this video.
Yeah, yeah, it's a video, alright.
Kizuna Nakama.
In fact, many of the best duels and moments are in 5D's latter half. It's more that the series never quite reaches that consistent high that it did with the Fortune Cup Dark Signer storyline.
If that's a
which
high, I
is
really don't want to see
A
a low.
consistent high, yeah. That's what I'd call it. Sure.
I
just as
wish I was
frustrating in a
high
way
during it.
because it easily could have, if not surpassed it. Put in weeb terms, this is 5D's Boo Saga, where it had so much potential going in that it never fully realized, so most conversations around it eventually delve into the mistakes that were made and how it could have been improved. Which is
I wish they would
exactly
do
what we're
that
going
for
to be
Dark
doing.
Shigner
To
as
start,
well.
Oh, now he is going to criticize 5Ds. What is this?
Hell yeah, let's go. Please be correct.
the very opening of 5D's next arc instantly fumbles the ball when Yusei explains how in the 6 months following the fight against the Dark Signers and the new Daedalus Bridge being constructed, all tensions between the citizens of Satellite and New Domino City has been completely resolved.
There were no
overcome.
tensions.
That's the first thing, yes. Like, and second of all, the fact this show doesn't play along with its own ideas of there being tensions. Yeah, that's bad. I agree. Terrible world building.
Or maybe it didn't. It just were never tensions. It was actually just the Shattelite being retarded.
But then they should have commented on that too.
Yeah. Just
So
kind of
it's
is
like
like,
pick
yeah,
your
no,
poison.
we're friends now, okay.
Yeah, pick your poison up to you. I don't mind. Either way, the show's bad.
Yeah.
And everyone is finally at peace. Because if modern history has taught us anything, it's that tensions between two groups separated by years of classism, discrimination, and systematic segregation can totally be mended in a half year. Build bridges, not walls. To be clear, I'm not against the idea of things being actively improved. With the amount of depressing dystopias that wallow in suffering, it's honestly great to see 5D's setting shift to how people can come together to find common ground once those divisions are dissolved and the ruling class are violently removed from power. Working
But
as a
nothing
follow-up
changed
to the
with
previous
Goblin
arc.
Dawn.
Regarding to the
nothing
ruling
changed.
class, nothing changed, just the guy on top.
Yeah,
It's the same.
it's just no, it's the funny clown man's in charge. But like
Yeah.
that's it. And then Iliasta. I mean, who is also one guy, but
You know.
arc's underlying narrative about making amends for past mistakes. There didn't need to be a 12-point plan for urban revitalization established to fix these deeply systemic issues from the card game motorcycle anime. But considering all the stories that could have been told within this setting shift, just for everything to happen off screen in the time it takes me to complete a video is far less compelling than actually seeing the moment-to-moment beats and hurdles of the world changing. For example, it makes sense that the main characters are given special treatment as famous duelists that save the city, but then the next step would be showing how average citizens from Shattelite reintegrate into this population that once viewed them as human garbage. Now
It never did.
It really didn't, and that's the second part. The change should have happened earlier in regards to Yusei, because he's king now, and he's still treated like a common thug.
Yeah, which is very strange.
That's really silly.
that they can move freely within New Domino. Officer Trudge has a whole mini character arc in the previous season dedicated to him realizing the mistakes he made, criminalizing those that lived in the satellite, when they were simply...
He didn't show the Kiryu scream, by the way. What the fuck?
I know, it's bullshit. He
trying to
did
survive with the bad hand they were dealt.
He did use
But
that.
what about the rest of Sector Security that were effectively trained to oppress the citizens there? Did they just get
But
a
they
training
didn't.
video?
We didn't see that. No, we didn't see them oppressing the citizens. And
Yeah.
if you're going to use the Kiryu example specifically, he's a cop killer. Cops don't like cop killers, unsurprisingly.
To go over? There's just so much more that could have been explored.
It's like, they're beating up criminals. These pigs. Like,
My God, do you remember what he did? You showed what he did.
Twice.
Here, but it really feels like one of the most engaging aspects of 5D's world building was tossed aside for seemingly no reason other than it was getting too heavy. It's not
No,
as
it's
if
just
it was resolved
bad.
in a huge,
I mean, I
meaningful
can
way
agree
that
with them
leaves some
not
questions to
writing
be filled
something they
through
know they're not
Tumblr
equipped to write.
headcanons.
That's fair
The
enough.
writers just went, I'm done playing with this toy. And it's not like they were in a rush and didn't have time to delve into these subjects either. A major point of contention with the preceding arcs is that it starts off with a stretch of inane fluff episodes as the new main thread is established. But rather than
No,
using
that's not
that
the
time to
problem. The
effectively
main problem
examine
is
the
that
new
they established the thread so early.
Yeah, the-
Everything after that's fucking. Wait, why are you
The
focusing
problem
on
is,
this? Now in the
you're
aftermath, you know?
fucking synchro killing Macross from the future. Anyway, let's fuck around for 20 episodes.
Literally.
relationship between
It's like,
Satellite
you
and
remember
New
in the middle of the tournament, you say "fucks off" to go do Crash Town for no reason.
Yes.
That was
City,
insane. What?
which feels like such a freebie from a writer's perspective, considering the main cast have now moved into the city and are living out of a garage.
Shitty.
Instead, we get episodes about Leo investigating a haunted house in the forest,
They
and
used
Crow
T-Rex
helping their
music, it
landlady
made me
connect with her
happy.
estranged son. Don't get me wrong, some of these episodes are still enjoyable. Callan's search for a meaningful death in Crash Town after recovering from his time as a dark signer being an extremely notable highlight. But as a whole, these characters aren't
They
being
didn't
used to
got
their
it.
best
Ruined his
effect
fucking
here.
character.
What makes this especially frustrating is that the struggle of getting to this unified utopia would have worked beautifully with the central theme of 5D's second half, which focuses on
Which is?
fighting for one's future, in a very literal sense. Rather than starting on everything being fixed now and protecting it, having a dynamic where the signers have to both prove a better future as possible while actively demonstrating in the present would have blended together so perfectly.
The footage you just showed was from the guy in the future.
Yeah.
He was, just impersonating, you say. And
Which
then
is really
ultimately
cool.
failed and everyone died.
Hmm.
I'm just saying.
What you say was in the present and it wasn't enough.
It's
So
a
it's one.
little infuriating that isn't the angle the writers took. Now, as fandoms are wont to do, there's
I
a
can
slew
agree
of
with enough
rumors
on this
floating
point,
around
but,
online to explain the sudden
Eh?
A weird sex cult? What the fuck does he mean by that?
Bro was originally intended to be the final boss of the Dark Signa arc. What? Hmm.
If you so so.
My sources that I made the fuck up. That's all I can say to this.
Yeah. No, Arki's lack of talent was not a result of a voice acting track, yet the result of the fucking writers being terrible.
sudden shift
Yeah.
between 5D's two halves that are likely riddled throughout the comments already. Many of which that have the founding of a random 4chan post and don't hold up to a moment of actual research. Like
Yeah,
how
that sounds
Crow was
about right.
supposedly planned to be the secret final boss of the Dark Signers,
Yeah.
but ended up taking
That
Leo's
fucking
place as a
design is so
signer
silly.
instead because his Blackwing deck became popular in the real life meta.
If I'm perfectly honest, that's how it feels watching the show though.
I don't know about him being planned as like the fucking
Yeah, that I don't
final
know, but
boss,
it's like actually
but
like, why the
definitely him
fuck are you a
being
signer, sir? Why the fuck are you a signer,
Yeah.
not Leo? It's actually very fucking weird.
Despite the fact it doesn't line up with the production timeline, and the popularity of a character's deck has never once influenced their prominence in the series.
Have you heard of Kaiba?
In actuality, the likely explanation is a lot simpler.
Even though it's certainly
that's
the other
the
way
thing.
around to the popularity
Yeah,
of the
I would.
shows.
That's what I was gonna say to you, and that's what I was gonna say. I would think it's inverse that like the popularity for like Kaiba is the best example. I don't think the Blue Eyes Cards are popular because or Kaiba's in the show because the Blue Eyes Cards are popular. No, people like Blue Eyes because Kaiba used them.
Yeah.
Like that's why.
Because Blue Eyes are actually pretty boring.
But I can absolutely see 5Ds trying to get fan appeal by being like, oh look, it's that deck you like. Come on, guys, come on. I can absolutely see
Along
that
with
being the case,
Kazuki
though.
Takahashi
Yeah.
becoming even less involved.
Wait, did he pronounce his name wrong again?
Explanation is a lot simpler. Along with Kazuki Takahashi becoming
His name is Takahashi.
Takahashi, it's not hard.
even less involved with the creative side after
Call
the
him
Dark Signer arc,
APT.
the lead
There
writer
you
for the
go.
series,
I'll do it.
Atsuhiro Tomioka, left shortly after the Fortune Cup arc,
Lamau.
leaving Shin Yoshida to take over what they'd set up, as well as creating a new storyline for what comes after the Dark Signers. It's nothing more insidious than two writers having opposing ideas they'd rather emphasize within a single
But they were both
series.
shit. I couldn't
They
even
were
tell.
both bad.
That's the thing. Like, actually, if you told me the writers changed, I'd be like, really? It did? It feels about as shit. Like,
I guess it's a different brand of shit. No.
Resulting in
that's it.
contradicting approaches to some of the characters, along with a shift to a more plot-driven story. Konami wasn't
I would not say that
I would.
that arc is more plot driven.
They had to retcon it to make fucking Iliasta part of the tournament. Inverse. They had to inverse retcon it.
Yeah.
And by the way, that was preceded by you say fucking around in Crash Town.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not plot driven. And it's also not plot driven when the fucking Iliasta people introduce the fucking mech lords who murder synchro players. Well, they don't actually murder synchro players, but yeah, the synchro killer mech lords are introduced. And then we have filler for 10 episodes. That is not fucking plot driven.
attempting a psyop to trick you into buying more Blackwing cards. It's just a writer who felt Crow worked better as a signer than Leo. But let's put a pin in that for now. Also, with the change in lead writers, it's worth noting that 5Ds was being made at the same time as the 10th anniversary film.
Yeah, that is sure noticeable.
The reason why this is notable is that Studio Gallop, the studio that produced every Yu-Gi-Oh series up until 7s, isn't particularly large. So it's easy to imagine having to juggle both a long-running series and a feature film could lead to the staff being jumbled around.
The film is only 50 minutes though. Just
I
saying.
mean, I imagine it took a bit for them to make, but it's still like...
around trying to manage both at the same time without clear ideas to follow through with.
And like
Resulting in
this is the thing as
storylines
well. You could even have like the storyline function better if you just didn't introduce the Mechlos immediately. If you just waited on it and gave us the filler, that would have been better pacing wise.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, you said everything is good now, and then suddenly, oh no, big evilmans.
Yeah, that's all they had to do instead. It's like you say, why are you fucking around? Ghost is running around. You say, stop fucking around. Ghost is an issue, you piece of shit.
getting set up with no planned payoff and less fleshed out direction in the character writing, at least compared to the previous 60 episodes. But this isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory, so let's get back to what's actually here. You put a Yu-Gi-Oh! Writer's back into a corner, and their immediate response is to start drafting a tournament arc to get out. So with the Dark Signer issue resolved and no lingering plot threads remaining, the immediate segue into the next storyline is the World Grand Prix tournament. 5Ds is basically a tournament arc sandwich, where it starts with one and ends with one, with a short finale as a topper depending on what region you're in. At its core, the World Grand Prix is a simple framing device to prop up the larger plot of time-traveling cyborgs sent to fix the past that will be acting as the main threat for the next 80 episodes, which isn't bad on paper.
They're just robots.
Yeah.
Nearly every Yu-Gi-Oh! Series has some form of tournament mixed with world-ending schemes or cults, because the format blends well with How do we find an excuse for the protagonists and villains to play a children's card game for the fate of the world? Hell, this is 5D's second one. Tournaments are just...
Except that 5Ds is really bad at that, and they just play Yu-Gi-Oh! Situations where it doesn't make any
Yeah.
fucking sense to do so.
Yeah, exactly. Because in the other ones, it's like, well, like originally, you're a good example. Oh, why are we playing card games? This is how we activate my fucking black magic my Egyptian black magic ritual.
Yeah, this is how we fight. This is the best way to fight.
Like, fucking GX, it didn't initially started it, and then it's like, oh well, Shadow Games, still efficient black magic. None of us have guns. 5Ds, oh, we all have guns. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, this
Guns
is
are a thing in
this
this universe. Just shoot them.
Just kill them. Just kill this hoe that has a whip on you. Just do it, dog.
Like,
You'll
I
be
always
fine.
assumed that the implication before was like you actually cannot harm them otherwise because they fucking
Yeah.
magic powers.
Because it's literally magic, yeah. Because like we know this for a fact when it comes to Shadow Games from the original. Because whenever someone did try to cheat against Atem, he just killed them or fucking destroyed their mind. Because that's how the Shadow Games work, and that's how you start the Shadow Games. Like, oh, we've accepted this dual cool Shadow Game, sick, let's go. And in Zeal, it also functions too because that's the only way to take numbers, winning them in a duel. You can't steal them because they physically don't exist until the duel happens.
See.
We'll get there.
Just a perfect setup to highlight different characters' personalities and playstyles with how they're matched up together. Something that's pretty vital for a series built around cards. But even within the larger Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe, the World Grand Prix stands on its own. Compared to the previous Turbo Duel format established, the Grand Prix uses teams of 3, with matches set up using a survival format where teams alternate through members as their life points get depleted, leaving whatever cards are on the field when they lose for the next person to follow. The new Speed World 2 field spell also replaces the original, adding in the ability to use speed counters for different effects depending on how many are used. Though this comes at the cost of the rule where taking over 1,000 points of damage loses the player's speed and counters, thus shifting the focus from maintaining speed in favor of managing resources between teammates. Honestly, I really like this format. It has a distinct pacing from even tag duels, emphasizing planning out the long game since cards and counters on the field carry over between duels.
Yes, it is the 5Ds one.
Yes.
No, not 5Ds, Foxcade.
Oh yeah,
it is.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh god.
Making matches just as much about team-based strategies as the individual duels. It's not just the 3 starring players either, since the tournament is designed around teams acting as their own pit crew. There's the extra detail where they can relay brief messages to the current person in the match as they pass by, allowing communication between team members in a limited capacity for strategizing. It's a format that attempts to make use of all players involved. Keyword being attempts, but we'll get to that. Plus, the WGP tournament provides 2 of the most standout duels from this series. Team 5D's match with Team Teo, followed by their match with Team Ragnarok. Now, if Crow, Jack, and Yusei are the scrappy underdogs that rose up the ranks from the slums, Team Teo are what they'd be if they didn't have their magic signer power.
Why do you say Teo?
Yeah, what did they say Teo? They literally say Teo like every time.
Like 50,000 times in that episode.
I remember that one point you just started skipping past them, saying Teo because they were chatting it for like 30 seconds.
And he still got it wrong. Then again, he doesn't know how to pronounce fucking Kazuki Takahashi.
3 poor farmers from the sticks who scrapped together enough trash Duelist Kingdom era normal monsters to build a deck in hopes of joining the tournament. They have to share a single, barely functioning duel runner between them, and are initially booed by the audience for their constant stall tactics being boring to watch, until their long-term strategy is revealed and the crowd immediately changes their tune. You couldn't
Which
make
is
them
strange
more
because
of
the
an
strategy is still
underdog
fucking
without
boring.
giving them a sick puppy as a
is.
mascot. But that's what makes Team Teo so endearing to watch as they fight their hardest against teams with far superior decks and
Yeah,
runners.
it's just like,
Solely
okay,
for the purpose of
whatever.
seeing how far a few country bumpkins can go if they tried. They're just some good boys doing their best, even if 4Kids didn't feel they were worth including. Then on the complete opposite side of the narrative parallels is Team Ragnarok, who are clearly meant to contrast where the signers
Who might be even more boring than Team Teo.
Yeah, literally, it's like this. I guess the most interesting thing is the guy on the right who's like, "I'm beefing with you, Jack. You bitch, dog."
now. coming into the tournament ready to use their own Norse god-given powers to save the day from the looming threat facing the city. With
I
Team
don't know why
Tao
they didn't
reflecting
team up.
5D's humble origins, Ragnarok swings in the opposite direction by having characters with similar bullshit magic backing them, so the characters
You know what? I will actually not blame him for mispronouncing Ragnarok, but you know, it's not right.
have to prove they're the better heroes for the job if they want to keep their protagonist privileges. And it's got the insane spectacle of having to fight the literal Norse gods of mythology to do it. Between these two teams...
No, not the literal Norse gods, it's the Yu-Gi-Oh version. And they're, you know, kind of order.
Yeah, they're lame.
There's a
The
poetic
archetype
reflection
isn't
of
good.
how far Team 5D
Yo, it's
need
just like
better summon
FGO. They
people.
made the Norse gods bitch made there.
Going on related
real.
to surpassing one's own limits or something. However, this arc has one fatal flaw that gives it the stability of a Blue Eyes player going up against a deck that requires actual strategy to use.
My dick.
Mages? So, first off, Drytron is a meta deck, sure, fine,
Yeah.
but Blue Eyes shits on a Raw Mage and Super Heavy Samurais completely. It's like, Super Heavy Samurais are one of the brain-dead simplest decks in the game.
That's what I was gonna get at. I played like fucking Super Heavy Samurai like one time on Duel Links and I instantly understood how they work. They're not complex at all.
And the Raw Mages also, I mean, if you take this as a stand-in for whole plan synchro, then even then, not really. And honestly, with Blue Eyes, you can do some shenanigans. If you actually use the field spell and stuff.
I don't
Oh,
think
there's a feed spell?
Shut the fuck up, you play Duel Links. We can talk about the game here.
You know what?
Yeah,
Okay.
fucking Blue Eyes also isn't complex. It's like, okay, I have my White Stone of Legend, cool. I have my, like, what's that other level 1 tuna nigga? That, like, when he gets popped, he gets popped, something triggers, blah blah. I fought the fucking Blue Eyes AI enough to know its combos. Like, it's not complex.
Complex to me.
Yeah, it's okay, you'll get there, brother. I believe in you.
But if you're Rogue Mages and Super Heavy Samurais, what the fuck are you on about?
Like, he
And
shows
ironically,
big brain decks and doesn't show DDDs. Nah, I'm
Yeah,
so
like actually, what the fuck
you.
are you doing?
You've seen Arc 5, you've seen
It's like
DDDs by
DDD
now.
Pendle Mages, I don't know. You know, actual combo decks and not Super Heavy Samurai. Also, Drytron also aren't that hard, actually.
Yeah, like, Drytron are not difficult.
They're fairly
like,
straightforward. They're just broken.
Yeah.
The World Grand Prix format itself. You see, as much as I can praise the concept for its clever ideas and...
But then again, I highly doubt that this guy's good at Yu-Gi-Oh!
Don't get mean now, even
And
if
he
it's
certainly
true.
isn't good at critical analysis.
moments, the new format is a bit of a double-edged sword, where it's hurting nearly as much as helping. With the tournament being built around 3v3 matches, each round of the bracket ends up lasting for a minimum of 4 episodes.
Yes.
Which is a fine length for your big cinematic showdowns, but not for competing against random jobbers in the preliminaries that never show up again. Team 5D's only duels 5 other teams throughout the tournament, but added up, that's
like
approximately
a century.
dedicated episodes, leaving 0 time for any other teams.
Did he just...
Yeah, he said 21 and he cut it out in the audio. I don't know why he didn't just...
Yeah, he
record
didn't
all
re-record it though, he forgot re-recording the 25.
that. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't do that.
Whoopsie. Well, that's a nitpick.
All you had to say was 25, my guy. That's all you had to say.
I assume he just forgot to put it in.
That's fine.
Have their own matches,
Can happen.
making you wonder why they went with a tournament format to begin with if that's how it would be paced out. In other series, some of the best duels are minor characters facing off against each other, completely...
Hellkaiser, minor character.
Minor character.
Okay.
Neither is Shell either. What the fuck?
Yeah, Cyrus and Hellkaiser, yeah, sure. Minor characters, if you say so.
Removed from the main protagonist,
cap.
thus adding to the suspense and anticipation on who will face who as you go down the brackets. The Battle City Finals are a perfect example of this. Same goes for the Fortune Cup. But when it comes to the World Grand Prix, since we only have time to show the duels involving Team 5Ds with how long they are, it becomes obvious that they're the ones heading to the finals, especially once Team New World manipulates time.
Are you saying that as if that wasn't obvious from the beginning?
Yeah.
So they'll be the final
Honestly,
match.
what would have made this tournament
Which is
better
a
is
short
just
set-
they started OTKing everyone. Like, that would have been so much better.
Yeah.
Approach to writing something like a tournament arc. I mean, look at Sherry and her butler Ellsworth. Prominent characters introduced in this arc, using the tournament to get close to the ones organizing it as a way to solve the death of Sherry's parents, yet we never see any of her matches. Maybe the writers knew since her plans didn't require her to win the tournament, it wasn't necessary to show her progressing through, but considering her mini-boss promotion later on, it's a glaring missed opportunity not to give her at least a single episode match as a way to develop her more.
I mean, we saw her duel once against Yusei.
Yeah. And then next time she duels, she doesn't even
She just
use
used a
that deck
completely
either,
different deck,
so-
yeah.
Nope. Into the void of time with you, thought. Not only does this format mean other teams don't get as much screen time though, it even carries over to the main cast themselves. With the 3-man teams, every character that isn't Yusei, Crow, or Jack are sidelined for the remainder of the season. Even then, with Yusei set as the anchor of the team, matches naturally always have to come down to him to make sure there's a proper give and take
He
flow with their
soloed at
opponents.
least 2 teams.
But that ends up creating a sort of Goku effect, where every problem inevitably has to be solved by Yusei.
But
The
Goku
worst of
didn't
this
even
being
solve
their
every problem, though. That's actually wrong.
Honestly,
Vegeta beat-
Goku is less of a fucking Marisu than Yusei.
He lost to Cell. He literally couldn't beat Cell. Vegeta took out Android 19, and he would have taken out 20 as well. Well, ignore that. He did beat Boo, but only via the Spirit Bomb, which only works if everyone else helps him anyway. It's like, Goku, like, no, he's not as bullshit as people make him out to be.
He's not as bullshit as Yusei.
He's nowhere close.
Where he has to take on the
He
entire
also didn't
team
even
by
beat
himself
Vegeta now I'm
after
thinking
Jack
about
and
it.
Kiza are both eliminated.
Fucking
Speaking
Gohan
of,
did.
if there was
Well,
anyone who got
Gohan,
it rough
Krillin,
this
and
season,
Yajirobe,
it's
or
Akiza.
whatever.
One of the highlights of the previous arcs, Akiza had some decent potential going into this tournament, even testing for her learner's permit after getting a taste for it riding with Yusei. From the setup, you expect this to be used as a way to expand on Akiza's character by having her strive to keep up with the rest of the team while learning the thrills of turbo duels. But after getting a single episode of development taking over for an injured Crow in the first match, she's then tossed back to warming the bench for the rest of the tournament. Good hustle, Akiza. See you again in 40 episodes.
I know that you all took a big chance letting me on the
Oh
team.
god, he watched us in
And I know
dub.
how much you guys all want to win this Grand Prix. I wasn't ready.
You're right, you weren't ready.
Outside of the general mishandling of some of its characters,
Thanks,
pretty much
Crow.
every issue in this chunk
This
of the
is all your
series
fault,
comes
Crow.
down to a real lack of direction and proper pacing in how to handle this story arc. Since it's trying to juggle both a tournament with a completely new structure and the main antagonist's time shenanigans. And that leads me to the second recurring issue 5Ds runs into with these later arcs. Time travel. Look, I know everyone loves Terminator, but if I can give one word of advice for any aspiring writers out there, it is to avoid time travel plots
That's
like it's a
not one
Blanca
word.
player. That is, only engaging with it when absolutely necessary. While it's indeed provided some of the greatest stories ever told, time travel is
I would not call Steins Gate one of the greatest stories ever told.
I'd say
It's
good.
fun, yeah.
Actually, UBW is the greatest time travel story ever told.
No. The point is you shouldn't know it's a time travel story.
But it is, and that's what makes it good.
That's not what makes it good. It's one of the many things that makes it good. But we're not gonna praise UBW when I'm talking about fucking shitty shows.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm gonna do what I want.
possibly one of the toughest concepts a writer can introduce into their world.
Yeah, 'cause it breaks
if it's not
everything.
extremely well thought out, you immediately open yourself
I'm sorry,
up to
Life is
screwing
Strange,
everything
well
up.
thought out.
No,
If
he
these
said if it
characters
isn't,
can
he's
travel
using
through
it as an
time,
example of
why
not.
didn't they just do XYZ? If they went
Literally,
back to the
yes.
past to change something, wouldn't that create a time paradox where the event of them being sent back never happens? Why
Yes.
didn't they just go back to kill Hitler? And 5Ds is a prime example. To make this easier for me, because frankly my brain's already making TARDIS noises, I'm going to start with the main antagonist story first, and then dissect it from there. So approximately 200 years into the future, Synchro Summons proved to be the first step to a perpetually evolving system that loses all control, gradually leading to a dark,
That joke was mildly funny.
hostile future dystopia that no one could survive in.
You leave my
leaving
pens
only the
alone.
worst to fight
Okay,
over
you
the
said
scraps,
pendulum
where the
was a mistake.
survivors are indistinguishable from
But
beasts,
synchros were the first
as they
mistake
lose
in
whatever's left of their humanity for one more chance to make it through another day. Sorry, I've been playing a lot of Master Duel lately. To be more specific,
Don't play Master Duel, it's a shit game.
You didn't have to add that. Your joke was fine.
Yeah, we got it, we got it. Yu-Gi-Oh's power creeping nightmare. Yes, it is.
Just leave my pens alone. They didn't do nothing except they did everything.
They did everything wrong.
We don't want to talk about it. Listen.
the
Pens are
evolution of
good
synchro
boys.
summoning over the last 2 centuries, combined with humanity's utter hubris, caused the world's energy reactors to go critical, summoning an army of killer robots bent on humanity's destruction.
Somehow.
Yeah. It just did, okay.
In an attempt to save the remainder of the world's population from the invasion after its initial attack, a scientist tries to rally the masses using Yusei's stolen valor as a great hero of the past. But it ultimately fails, leaving 4 humans
He
on the
also
planet.
changed his
Zone,
brain to think
Asporio,
exactly like
Antinomy,
Yusei too.
and
So
even
any
quicker
conclusion
times
Zone
the 10th
made,
anniversary film,
Yusei would too,
Paradox.
which is the funny
The 4
part.
then spend the remainder of their years working on a solution for saving the past from this apocalyptic future. And what did they come to after all these years? To turn themselves into robots, go back to the past, form a secret society, organize a citywide tournament to generate enough dueling energy to summon a repurposed satellite district turned divine temple, with the intention of smashing it into New Domino, triggering a massive zero reverse event in hopes of stopping future use of energy or synchros. Okay, so first question. If you have the ability to go to the past, why not just tell everyone the danger energy presents if not handled properly? Like, I can understand.
No, you don't even have to tell everyone. That's even more work than it. Just tell Yusei's dad.
Yeah.
Just tell the only guy who can make it.
Yeah.
Easy.
It's very strange that the option was like, yes, city, let's drop a city on this. It's like, you didn't even try to talk about it.
Even if you're like, no, your only option is violence. Okay, fine. Only blow up the fucking momentum reactor. Easy. That's all you have to do.
For the greater good angle here, but what's stopping Aporio from going to the past? Like, BT dubs, guys. If you don't get this whole clean energy thing figured out, robots are gonna start copper bombing the place. Deuces.
He doesn't even have to tell them either.
No,
he could just
the
show his
logical
memories.
conclusion is to cause a
Can do
Chernobyl
that.
level disaster
Yeah,
and
it's really
hope
funny.
that teaches everyone a lesson. In fairness, using synchro summons as a metaphor for a potential technological singularity is actually an intriguing way of blending the card game into the narrative. Especially
I don't know. Kind of silly.
since, in the real-world context, this was a drastic change to the game's format that had the potential of breaking it. Nowadays, every new Yu-Gi-Oh! Series is expected to introduce a unique form of summoning that the story is then built around. Zexals with Xyz, Arc V with pendulums, etc.
Zeal Arc 5, I'll strangle you.
You mean Zexal at Arc V?
Are you gonna call it VR Ains next?
Yo, I love VR aims.
I hate it. It's so painful.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns, which stands for Virtual Reality. Ains.
was treading new ground with this. Tuners and Synchros were the first clear attempt at redefining the playstyle of the game by adding in a new summoning style not outlined in the earlier rule sets. And with it came a degree of apprehension from longtime players who felt this presented a negative shift in the game's design.
Oh, they're just like me. I hated synchros.
Synchro summons.
Cringe.
So taking that idea and using it as the driving force for the antagonist's actions was a smart way of placing them in direct opposition to the main protagonists, who now have to prove it's
objectively right, though. That's the issue. It did cause a robot genocide. It would kill everyone. What the fuck?
Ich meine, Methods are fucking retarded, but they're right.
They're correctly just the wrong
time travel into an
conclusion.
ongoing story, specifically time travel that characters seemingly have control over, it effectively takes the audience's suspension of disbelief out behind a shed to be put down like a Vendread's player. Because it gives 0-1 and the rest of Iliaster near omnipotent power without an established limit. This is not a narrative that
What is this,
accounted
the
for
peak
time
of
travel
Yu-Gi-Oh?
when
Wait,
it was
hold on.
originally
Did he
written.
call Zone Z1?
Let's
Yes.
turn that back.
Because it gives 0-1 and
0-1.
0-1.
0-1. Where did you get that from?
Zero.
His name is
Z,
Zone.
obviously.
It's literally Zone. The card is a Z1, yes, but that has no relation to him somehow.
Yeah, that is also the plot point I just forgot. Yeah. The zone card, it doesn't actually matter at all for anything.
It's supposed to be a key card tied to Ilias.
Yeah, I know. That just gets dropped. Yeah, I just forgot about Zone.
and the rest of
The
Iliad.
card, not the guy.
Near omnipotent power without an established limit. This is not a narrative that accounted for time travel when it was originally written. So the story has to repeatedly bend over backwards to justify the villains messing with the timeline and how that affects past events. A challenge it handles with the grace of, well, me. Like, Iliaster
You know
were
what's been,
actually
there has been a really good way to do it, right? If like Zone is like, no, don't fuck with it too much because I might cease to exist, and we don't know how it works fully yet. We need to manipulate time in a way where we don't instantly vanish.
Yeah, maybe.
But that still presents problems of like, well, if you're messing with time
Yeah.
anyway, you will, like, you should have vanished regardless. But,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. They've also shown resistance to it, like Team 5Ds at least. So if he was Yusei, he'd have that excuse of like he can resist being disappeared from the timeline for a while. But yeah,
I don't know how any of this works. It doesn't.
ones
it
that
doesn't
caused the
work. That's the
original Zero
problem.
reverse in an attempt to make sure humanity never use energy again, thus preventing their future, even though it was established in the preceding arcs that it was caused by the Darksigners to open up the gates for the Earthbound Immortals. There's absolutely no reason to retcon this plot point other than to retroactively insert these new villains into the previously established lore at the cost of the story already told. It's the Bleach school of writing.
Hold on. Didn't you say
Shut
this
the
video
fuck
was
up.
to talk about how amazing 5Ds is? Why have you spent the last 15 minutes ragging?
Because it's shit.
It's not good.
Because you realize halfway through that the series is dog shit.
He somehow didn't realize it at the first half. That's the
Yeah.
amazing part. If he was this critical about the first half, we'd be getting Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's retrospective. The abyss of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. Another failure from Yu-Gi-Oh!
On it.
Oh, that was the first guy. I'm the replacement, and I'm going for more of a critical re-examination angle here. Definitely didn't get most of the way through this script and realized I had to address certain writing flaws that popped up. Absolutely not.
So he literally
Should've
started
changed.
doing this video because he's stupid and didn't think about anything. But then retroactively didn't correct the script for account for that the first half is also stupid.
Oh, he just didn't realize it was stupid. That's also
You
Yeah,
should.
that's also possible.
So you get 50 minutes in and you get clickbaited. Awesome.
Oh no, he could still say it's the peak of the series. He'd just have to argue the rest of it is just that bad.
In all honesty, these last two arcs feel like a story where the writer had a strong idea of their ending and then worked backward.
But the ending was terrible.
It was awful.
It's not necessarily the wrong approach. Plenty of authors write
is
their
the wrong
stories that
approach.
way since it gives them a clear direction to work towards with their characters. It's just that with 5Ds, they had their end goal in mind, but then struggled to get there from where they were.
No, I don't
So
think
the
they
whole-
did, because why would Zone be a fucking rando with no relation to Yusei instead of just being Yusei?
Yeah, it feels more so like, no, we can't do that to our beloved character, Yusei. Fucking rewrite that, I thought.
Literally, because then it would have been a thing of like the father caused the destruction of the fucking Shattelite, and now Yusei will cause the destruction of Shitty. Nice.
were filled
There's a
in
meme
with
here.
time travel retcons and
It's like
fleets of
poetry, it
robots.
rhymes.
I can overlook a decent amount of these slip-ups though, because it all culminates
These
in
aren't
one of my
slip-ups, these
favorite
are
arcs of this
fuck up.
entire franchise, the Arc Cradle arc. As
What?
The Arc Cradle arc.
That was this part of the series where we just wanted to get fucking done with. Just be over.
Literally the only thing I like in it is the Bruno duel, because there's some lines that I'm like, okay, that's kind of nice, you know? And like, I like that Bruno's showing concern from the entire duel. That's actually a nice detail. Good.
it is back to back to
That's
back
it, though.
bangers. When I said
Funny
previously
that you mentioned Odin, because I'm playing an Odin player on Duel Links right now.
You better win.
that a sizable chunk of the best duels from this series were cut by 4Kids, nearly all of them are in this 24-episode finale.
Also, the
And
Shariaki
it's here
shit.
that all
fight-
the thematic
that duel was
seeding
shit.
over the course of the
It's
last
very
60
bad.
episodes gets paid off. In order to stop Iliaster's plan to destroy New Domino with a future version of the satellite, Team 5Ds are left with no choice but to take the Norse God Express up to the Arc Cradle itself in hopes they can reverse its trajectory, with the knowledge this might be a suicide mission. But before the signers can face off against Zone to save the day, they need to
Now he says zone?
No, it's a zone, yeah.
What the
That's
fuck?
weird.
Why did you say 0-1 before?
I don't know what he was cooking.
get through his 3 mini-bosses. First, there's Sherry, whose inability to get over the loss of her parents leads her to believing Zone can create a version of the world where everyone's reconnected with their loved ones,
I mean,
as long as he's allowed to blow up
Because he
his
can.
one teeny tiny city. She almost gets Crow on her side too by taking advantage of his love for the orphans he looks after, until Akiza reminds him that they can't wallow in the past. And
You know
have to
what would have been really funny? If Zone was like, I can just let me blow up the city and I'll teleport everyone to the fucking remains of it in like 10 months later. And then it will be fixed by then. And so he completely bypasses the issue because clearly people can exist outside where they belong in time. Because he is. And same with Iliasa, they've existed for like who knows how many years.
move
He could
forward if they want
had
to make
so
the
many
future a
outs
better
to
place.
arguing with them. It would have been so easy.
And is he going to mention how that contradicts what he previously said the topic was, that you need to like reconcile with your past?
No, he won't.
No, like no, past doesn't matter, future.
No, it can be reconciled. Listen, you can't change the past, you just have to accept it. You just have to blindly accept what happens, even when you have the power to change it.
Okay, so we just never do anything because, you know, it will be in the future, but then it will be in the past, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, got that.
If you see a child
Also,
drowning,
Sherry's
don't do
soul-binding
anything.
gate is
His
just
destiny
so
culminates
sick.
here, and you
Then on
shouldn't
the
rob
note of
that of
insane
him.
visual spectacle, there's
I agree.
Yusei's match
Exactly.
against Bruno, the robotic form of Antimony, whose mission was to push Yusei into learning a new form of synchro summoning that would help them draw out the Arc Cradle. This plan was complicated, however, by his temporary amnesia, resulting in his alternate personality Bruno.
No, it wasn't complicated, but that was the plan.
Zone's plan, yes.
You phrased it as if it was a coincidence when it was the plan.
It-
The plan is just
yeah,
fucking stupid.
It's just a bad plan. It's like, we need Yusei to get strong enough so he can summon forth the Arc Reactor in a duel with the Poria. Like, why don't we just bomb the shit out of the fucking reactor?
Have you tried bomb? Have you tried
Bomb.
bomber?
Bruno
No,
becoming
we
attached
need
to
to summon a
Yusei and
city.
Team 5Ds, and seeing the potential they had to save the future their own way. So, torn between his allegiance to Zone and his friendship with Yusei, Antinomy creates a do-or-die
His loyalty to
situation.
Yusei
If
and his
Yusei
friendship
can't
with
beat him by
Yusei.
surpassing the limits of Excel Synchro, thus proving he can defeat Zone and save the future, he'll be absorbed into a black hole. Additionally, I didn't realize until working on this part of the script and looking up the proper pronunciation, the wordplay going on with Antimony's naming. Clever. But by far my favorite duel of this arc, and the one I want to put a special spotlight on,
No, this one was the second worst. This one was almost as bad as the fucking Sherry duel. No.
But nothing
Wait,
is
you looked up how-
as built as the final duel.
Wait, he looked up how to pronounce names and still fucked it up?
Hashi's name up here.
Yeah, it's which is strange because they say the names in the show, except because of
Yeah.
Takahashi. But you know, that's kind of a no-brainer how to pronounce it.
Jack, Luna, and Leo's match against Aporia,
Luna?
the combined form
It's
of Team
Lua.
Yor. Because, as I hinted at earlier, or about an hour ago, this is where Leo
they're called
truly
Leo and
gets his
Luna
moment
and
to
stuff.
shine. You see, throughout
Which honestly is a better name than Ruined Ruka, I'm not gonna lie.
I agree with that. That
the
was
series,
happening.
Leo is constantly framed as having to live in the shadow of the signers, including his own
No,
twin
no, the Shignas.
sister. He's the kid that's desperate to prove themselves, but that just makes him look
And
that
he
much
does
more
nothing the
mature.
entire fucking.
He constantly makes mistakes in his vain attempts to keep up with the rest of the team, resulting in an impressive loss record and usually requiring others' help to get him out of trouble. Up until they arrive at the Arc Cradle, Leo is the symbol of mediocrity. And the match with Aporio doesn't...
Symbol of mediocrity. No, that's you say.
He is wasting his deck, I agree.
Yeah.
He's
Like, bro, you're
wasting
playing
his deck.
Mobtronics where you FTKs, bro.
start much differently. All Leo's strategies to get the upper hand end up completely backfiring, causing Jack and Luna to suffer.
Which is completely arbitrary because, you know, there is no strategy in 5Ds or any of the Yu-Gi-Oh series for that matter. It's just random cards go.
Cards go brr.
It's like, it's fucking. The duels are just nothing. They're worthless. Like, in terms of the fucking actual mechanics and cards being played and strategies played, they're fucking worthless. They're nothing. All you can do is, like, have the vague thematic of, like, oh, I guess, like, Leo fucked up. It's just like, but the way in which he fucked up was in no way predictable at all. It's just random bullshit.
He played the best he could have.
Yeah,
Like, he
it's
just
like,
mean.
what the fuck else is he supposed to do, bro?
As each of his attempts to help get countered by the robot from the future. Mistake after mistake brings Jack and Luna closer to death's door, pushing Leo to his absolute limits. So Aporio gives him a choice.
Aporio.
Is it
Come
Aporio?
on, bro.
Is it O in the dub?
No, he said it before. He just
before,
misspoke. He didn't care to correct it.
Take the L and spare his friends from death, or keep fighting in spite of it all. And this is why it's interesting that Leo is made the star of this match. Repeatedly, Leo's seen that he isn't good enough to play on the rest of the team's level, and now that weakness could come at the cost of the lives of his loved ones. This is an impossibly frustrating situation for a child to be put into. But rather than give up, he stakes his life on making sure Luna and Jack can make...
He stakes his life on a fucking coin toss.
Yes.
Through the match alive. And that's what finally awakens his own signer mark, shattering the metaphorical and the literal shell of his ace monster into the live-stream dragon teased over 100 episodes ago. I know some feel Crow took Leo's spot as the 5th signer at the end of the Dark Signers.
Yes,
because he did, because they teased Livestream Dragon and not whatever the fuck Blackwing Dragon is.
Yeah, Blackwing Dragon literally didn't exist until episode, like, what was it, 108? Was it 108?
I don't fucking know. The episode was later, though.
Yeah, it was super late. It was just before the tournament. Like, literally just before the tournament.
But they were like, hey, actually, who the fuck is Crow? Let's give him some backstory.
Applied character arc that was set up early on, but I feel this whole self-actualization moment here works at its best this late into the game. For all the talk about surpassing one's limits throughout these last 2 arcs, that's a far easier mentality to keep when you already have dozens of wins already at your back. But another thing entirely when you don't. Leo has lost and lost and lost. And while he...
So has Yusei, but the show just pretends he doesn't.
The show just makes it so they don't activate their effects that let them win.
Yeah, like Mukuro just not activating his Burning Skull Flame for no reason.
Jack, like, fucking, my favorite one is still Jack versus Yusei, because, like, the end of Storm, I didn't get end of Storm. Oh, okay, that's fine, I don't get the burn damage that would kill me next turn. Anyway, now you die.
Yeah, it's like, that's not how that works, Yusei.
He almost gives
Jack's
up,
just like,
he finds the courage to push through in the end. That's why of all the signers, Leo is the one who feels like he genuinely earns his mark. Rather than something
don't
given
own
to
it
him
though.
by
You're
birth.
just chosen by a fucking dragon.
Yeah, that's what he said. It was like he's the only one that actually earns this. The rest of them just you're shaking on off. Okay.
Sucks that one of the 2 female main characters in this series is ultimately relegated to being nothing more than a tool for a brother's development. But even then, I can't.
I mean, it's not like she was in any way, shape, or form interesting before that.
I mean, she's not a character at all.
And I mean, Ark is a character. She's just shit.
She's just fucking iconic monster.
Until the series just kind of ignores that aspect. Just completely
ignores that.
swept under the rug.
Like, it never comes up
We
again.
don't talk about that.
Like, Ushio, like, never tries to arrest her for her many, many crimes.
Can't help but love this match. It takes a well-told story to take a C-tier character who's made to be the butt of the joke.
A C-tier character, you mean use?
That's really fucking generous. C tier.
C tier. It's like, yeah. Sure.
Nah, he's untiered.
This entire
I
show is
put him-
F tier.
Like, yeah,
PU tier.
No, we're not talking about Pokemon tiers.
And turn them around in a single duel. No matter how much I gripe about its shaky build-up, all the duels in the Arc Cradle are full of pathos and drama that makes each antagonist
Full of pathos and drama.
No. Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
no. Oh,
Why are
no.
you busting out the Greek for, dog? There ain't no need for this.
Oh, no.
There's no verisimilitude. There's no poetry. Oh.
No pathos, no
What?
ethos.
It does not speak truth to power.
It does not astound. Oh,
It does not entertain.
There is nothing of redeeming quality. Its only merit is metatextual, if that I'd like to stop thinking about it.
Oh, I can't
Just
believe
more
I'm really
nuanced
said
than
that.
a
Good
temporary
lord.
It's
wall
the
that needs
funniest
to be
thing
worked
I've ever
around by the
read.
protagonists. Sherry is racked with grief over her parents that she's willing to believe Zone can bring them back and refuses to hear otherwise.
He literally can. He has time
And Timothy is
travel
torn
powers.
between loyalties of friends who have diametrically opposed goals.
He's
And
also not.
Apollio's
That's
desperate
a
to
lie,
save
by the way.
humanity
Bruno
from-
isn't conflicted. He literally said his goal was to make Yusei win. He wanted Yusei to beat him. That was what he wanted. That's why he showed off so much and showed concern.
Yeah.
a despair-filled future.
Like it's like the
they had
one
to
time
live
in the series where the character monologuing actually makes sense.
Yeah.
through. But it takes one child's personal growth moment to make him realize that there's still hope there if one's ready to fight for it. This entire arc further proves the point that the best duels in the series are often less about the actual game being played.
Yeah, because that's always terrible. Or every fucking time.
And more about the meaning behind them. Which brings us to the final matchup, Yusei versus Zone.
Yeah, this
Are
is
you
the
going
one
to
where
talk
the
about how
meaning-
incredibly fucking bad this duel is?
Yeah, how the meaning is totally killed because rather than actually fighting himself, who is given up, it's some fucking loser lopping as him. Like, dog, please.
And are you going to mention how they just do the thing twice? It's just like, oh, we all fight together, Kizuna, Nakama, and then they just do it again. It's like, I got it the fucking first time. I didn't do it in another episode.
He did it again, but bigger and slower. Like,
it's so bad.
And I don't know how well I can articulate this one, other than pointing wildly at the two flying through the skies into a domino as the Arc Cradle comes crashing down around them. This is 5D's over-the-top nature mixed with the genuine sincerity, reaching critical overload.
it's a
It was incredibly boring and stupid. It wasn't even spectacle, it was just stupid.
Nah, genuine sincerity. You're just heartless.
Genuine sincerity.
Yeah.
First off, these two words mean the same. Second off, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I legit don't know what he means by that.
Yeah,
It
I'm
was
trying to
also, I wouldn't call it
'Cause I don't-
genuine
I don't-
sincerity, I would call it pretentious as fuck.
Yeah, because I don't think it is sincere, because the entire time you say like just spouting off the same bullshit he says every time. It's not even like, no, you can't have downloaded my personality because I would never bitch out like you did. He doesn't even say anything like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel sincere at all.
Yes, there's nothing,
because
just
there's
says,
nothing
Nakama,
going on.
Kizuna, hope, kill
There's
yourself.
literally- You know what's been so much better? Yusei starts suggesting things and Zone goes, I tried that one time loop ago. I tried that already. That failed. I thought of this shit already. I'm you, nigga. I already tried every option. I just keep failing. That would have been far better. No. It's a guy whose first thought was everyone needs to die, and since he's Yusei's brain, effectively, it's Yusei's first thought. No.
As Zone waxes philosophical about the nature of despair and wanting to say
Whatever that's
Yeah.
supposed to mean.
We have some fucking worthless bullshit that
Yeah,
Aporia was on about.
genuine sincerity is like the nature of despair. Genuine sincerity and the nature of despair are two things that don't go together, brother. It's just bullshit.
Literally, Zone said himself he wasn't even being sincere in this duel because he wanted to see Yusei beat him. He wanted to see them change the future. That's what he said afterwards.
Save
So he's just
mankind from its own
wrong.
hubris by putting the world in its place before it flies too close to the sun, all while smashing Yusei in a building like it's a shonen battle manga.
It is a shonen battle. That's literally what it is.
That's what it was. Now it's a shonen battle anime instead. So
Yeah.
there we go.
And it's a bad one.
And on top of it all, there's even the recurring tournament MC choosing to stay behind at
I
the
know,
That
it was
so
obnoxious.
cringe.
I
Oh
wish
my
it was
fucking god, it
gone.
was so annoying.
Because he spent the whole time sucking off Yusei. It was
Yes,
so
oh my god, the
obnoxious.
Yusei dick sucking in the stool is... Oh, it's unbearable.
Yusei, for 40 seconds or something. It was just the cheering Yusei. It was so fucking bad. Every time Yusei would make a fucking play, this cocksucker would show up and be like, "You can see that zone? That's how cool Yusei is. He's the best." Like, fuck off.
I hate all of
I
you.
feel like I'm in Fire Emblem Fates. Kill yourself.
sector security building to provide color commentary for the match so that the rest of New Domino can properly flee while still getting the play-by-play. Not only because it will help with evacuations, but because he just loves the game that much. This is the equivalent of an Evo commentator remaining at their table as the venue around them crumbles so that no one misses a single mix-up.
Now you have the subtitles.
And if not to bring it all...
Why is he happy about it? He would be like, are you fucking retarded?
It's like,
I don't get this fucking show.
It's bad.
It's just shit.
Well,
There's not much more to get from it. It's just bad.
I get that much, but God.
Yeah, if it's about sucking Yusei's dick, they have to agree. So yeah.
Full circle, Yusei's final play is to use all his friends' signature dragons for one
And then do it again.
massive limit
No, for two massives.
over cell synchro, tying together the idea of
Because then his fucking quasar gets blown up and then he just fucking does it with Stardust.
Yeah, and like it, because they wanted to use both his themes in the battle. That's why.
Apparently, yeah.
Like they were both there, and they just played the fucking Shooting Star 1 played for the Quasar, and then fucking no, Shooting Star 1 is Clear Mind, whatever. And then the fucking his regular battle theme played for when Stardust went psycho mode, and he was like, "This is the proof of our bond.
that has been
My
littered
negate."
This is the proof of our bonds. This random ass gimmicky trap card and this spell that I top decked. Like, okay, Yusei, if you fucking
No,
say
he
so.
said the embodiment of their bonds was Stardust and negate. Like that's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, that is funny. It's like, oh, how is Quasar not the embodiment of your bonds that you literally summon with all 5 signers?
It's even funnier because Junk Warrior would be a much better use of that because it actually
Yeah.
gains power from like
Yeah.
how many monsters on the field. It'd actually be better if he just
Yeah.
used Junk Warrior. But whatever.
throughout this series.
We have to have
Then
about
like they all give him like one of the low level monsters and that powers up the Junk Warrior and he punches it. It would have worked
Yeah,
the
like-
exact same.
literally it would have been more thematically fitting actually than a fucking negate.
Yeah.
But no, he has to have his 2500 monster because Yugi did.
And it's bad. Dark Magician is such a shitty card.
This isn't about Yusei summoning a dragon the size of the Seattle Tower. This is a culmination of the bonds he made to get here, helping him to
It's really not. He
It's
top
not
decked
at
a
all.
fucking gimmicky shitty card and then used it. That's what happens.
protect the present and save the future. That's because if anything is going to make the world a better place, it's not through more destruction and death. It's not rejecting reality or
Rejecting reality? He's changing reality!
You fucking idiot! It's the fucking monarchy argument again. I hate this.
I also, Jinx, we literally said the same thing at the same time. Oh, God. I hate it. Don't go along with... That is the most infuriating thing that Crow has ever said in his fucking life.
fuck?
God, that was so
No one has the
fucking
right
piss.
to make the world a better place. No one has the right to do that. Of course, a shitty Shattelite would fucking say that.
You can't run from
No.
reality. AKA, you can never change things. Just accept how it is.
Just accept illness. What's the point in curing the common cold? What is the
Exactly.
point in that? Come
Just
on.
accept. You can't. Are you trying to run from reality?
God, why are you running from it? Don't make penicillin. What's wrong with you?
God, Jesus
You need to
Christ.
accept. You need to accept the world the Lord our God gave us, and He gave us it with disease.
Embracing cynicism, it's the ability to rely on those around you. The connections you make.
Yes, meaningless platitudes. It's like, synchro summoning is going to destroy the world. Fuck you, I have friends. What?
Okay, that's fine. Will you guys at least stop using your synchro monsters? No.
It's like...
With others are what's gonna make them.
Like, realistic with how 5Ds points out that should still happen. The Mecha Apocalypse is coming.
They're not gonna give up their synchros, and they're no better people by the end of the series.
And he built the fucking thing. Like, he built the fucking momentum reactor. Made it better, so yeah. It's still gonna happen, I guess.
This time it's controlled. This time it's fine. You did what you needed to do.
And if that was an option, why didn't you do that to begin with, Zone, you fucking retard?
He literally just used his brain. He should be able to do it.
If Yusei can do that, you should be able to do that.
It's just bullshit. It's just total bullshit.
5Ds is so shit.
The difference in the end and help you to be a better person. Even Zone understood this deep down when he originally started this plan, as he had a faint hope that the true Yusei could be guided to protect the future, as that was the hidden reason he sent a Timothy to teach him about Excel Synchro in the first place.
Instead of just fucking asking him, you know.
Yeah, which could
Why
be
the fuck is he playing Clear Mind in the background right now?
It's not Clear Mind. It's
And in the
fucking.
end, that was the
last
key to
update.
bring the
That's what
people
it is.
together
It's
to
still
make sure
Clear-
that their
yeah.
future doesn't happen. So Zone can find peace leaving the present in their hands. Yes, I know it's corny, shonen, power of friendship shit.
That's literally what it
Yeah,
is.
that's literally what it is. There is no but. There is no but after that. That's just what it is. That's literally what it is.
And it doesn't make sense here at all.
He had talk no jutsu. He talk no jutsu them.
Shut up,
No,
it's hype.
it's just getting beat up by a fucking dragon gives you brain damage. That's what happened. A dragon fucking blasted him to oblivion and he got brain damage from it.
Oh, he got dual no jutsu.
Frankly,
Gotcha.
when I started my rewatch of 5Ds, I wasn't expecting much beyond something to listen to in the background while I worked on other scripts.
And it was.
And I think that is exactly what you did because you didn't notice how fucking shit this is.
I was gonna say it's not even that because it pisses you off so much with how stupid it is.
Yeah, honestly, if even if I would have wanted something to run in the background, if it's 5Ds, I'd actually turn it off.
Because you hit the wood Nakama and Kizuna for 5
Oh!
fucking seconds.
Yeah, if you had it running in the background for the entire time, then I'll just fucking creep up to you and say, Kizuna. Like, oh.
That's a shitty. Team 5Ds. Who do you
Kizuna.
say?
Nakama. Shattelite. Shitty. Like, you do that all day. It's the same experience as watching 5Ds.
I wish I had made a counter for it by the end. So I see what I got.
Yeah, that would have been good, actually.
Oh, whatever. What's done is done, and I'm not.
Now you
going
can just
back.
rewatch it and do the counting.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Definitely wasn't planning on
Actually, probably someone else did it already, but yeah.
making an hour-long video about it. It had been years since I'd seen the series the entire way through, and never with the sub version proper. So I was mostly
using
just
dub
curious
clips
to see
earlier?
how it held up. And that's why I was surprised with how genuinely invested I was in these characters by the end.
Yeah, I'm also surprised that you are, because I couldn't give less of a fuck.
You lost that. It's good for you. I
Even
think
if
by
some
the
of
end,
them
the
got
character I like most is Bruno, I guess, kind of, but
Yeah.
I don't even care about him that much. It's like not even
Yeah,
slightly.
Bruno was like, okay.
Yeah, it's literally just, I don't hate you, so I guess you're the top. Like, there you go.
Well, my favorite character is Aphoria.
It was Kiryu before he became like with Kiryu.
Was this before or after he started fucking Man Back from Death posting?
Yeah, it was before he started doing that. Because before that, he was just a psychotic guy who really liked winning. It was pretty funny, and he really hated snitches. He was so based.
He was so mad.
Completely shafted for a large portion of the story. Yusei's hopes to save the satellite after years of strife and poverty, Jack's struggles between his childhood friendships and his desire to be the best, Akiza dealing with her emotional trauma with her parents and coming to accept her psychic powers as part of who she is, and Leo's 140
But she
episode
didn't do
long
that.
journey to finally
Yeah.
get a W. This
I
is
mean, I
everything-
guess she kind of did that, but she did that
She
before.
did that, she
That
did
was
it
not the arc.
But that's the thing. She didn't do it because she rejects her psychic powers during the fucking Iliasta arc, and then she kind of accepts them when Black Rose saves them, and that's it. So I guess she did, and it was just kind of happened.
Uh,
Everything Yu-Gi-Oh! As a series does it its best.
how?
No.
How? How does it do that?
Nah, it just does.
That's the thing. He can't
Okay.
even make this claim because he hasn't seen Zeal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Actually, how can he say that it's the peak of Yu-Gi-Oh when he hasn't watched half of Yu-Gi-Oh?
He's didn't
Means
even
Axel.
use Arc 5 yet. I mean, Arc V, my bad. Arc fucking V, I'm gonna lose my mind.
He hasn't even gotten to
Just
VR
wait until this guy
yet
gets to
either.
VR8s, yeah. At least he can't fuck up 7s, I think.
I haven't even seen 7s yet. I will one day, but...
Using
Oh, you
board
mean
games
Yu-Gi-Oh!
to pop
S
up
evens?
fun, engaging.
I mean,
Big-
there's
Oh.
no, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 Evans.
Yeah, there it is.
character stories. But
Time
I
to
think
make
the
a
most
video
interesting
essay
point
about it. Let's
5Ds
go.
makes is actually in its epilogue. With the Arc Cradle issue resolved, New Domino is now safe, and all the steps have been taken to make sure that bleak future won't happen. Leaving Team 5Ds with a question. What now? After fighting so hard to guarantee their future, what are they gonna do with it? These characters have relied so much on each other to make it through the last couple world-ending catastrophes that they're uncertain of where they go from
really
here.
though?
Each of
I
them
mean,
is
kind
presented
of.
with
That's the thing.
options
Dark,
on what they can
the
do
Dark
moving
Signals,
forward,
they all had
but
their
all of
solos
them
in
require
one.
them moving
Yeah.
away from the others.
It was only really the
After finally
Iliastus
talking
set.
about it, Jack is the only one prepared to break up the group if that's what it requires for him to pursue his goal. And while it sounds selfish at first, it's also understanding of the issue. Their work as signers is done. It's time that they go out and live their own lives now. Everyone's still apprehensive though, so Yusei proposes one last match with Jack. Under
Also,
the
they
pretense
didn't
it
know
will
that
help
the
him
work
make his
was done yet. The work's only done when the dragon took back the tattoos.
Yeah.
So if he did that earlier, that would have made more sense, but
own
whatever.
decision.
Yeah.
But it's more than that. A frequent theme across Yu-Gi-Oh! And shonen anime in general is the importance of friendship. How if you have friends by your side, they'll get you through anything.
Except with GX, where Jane just started being a solo goer. And he was way better off for it.
Remember this fucking tag duel with Asuka where she's getting pissed at him for not using cards? It's like, why would I use your card though? I didn't need it.
Yeah,
Fine, one
it's like,
off, it's fine.
GX doesn't actually do that. GX is anti-power of friendship. GX is power of me, and my power.
The power of the realest nigga I know, and it's just Judai pointing at the mirror.
Oh, GX is... It found... You know, in retrospect, it's surprising that GX avoided a lot of the tropes that 5Ds just fucking jerks off all over the place.
No, it's actually really crazy how
You would think GX came after, not before.
Yeah, kind of. But GX is still shit, you know? But it's not as shit as 5 fucking Ds.
You know,
It's
like,
shit, but it's fun shit.
Yeah.
exactly.
This.
No, I'd say it's sometimes fun shit. Like, well,
Okay, that's
GX
what I'm
also
saying,
has very many stretches where it's just boring.
Like,
Uh,
I was actually really fucking annoyed with Judai during like the fucking Society of Light arc. Where I'm like, stop taking Ed's
Yeah.
storyline.
Oh,
Stop
fucking
doing
damn
that.
it.
Fuck
That
off.
was the second season was by far the worst.
Definitely.
It was so
Like,
bad.
I'll never
and then-
forgive
then they
Jane
realized
for killing
the-
Crocodile Jimmy.
like they realized the issue with Yubel, and they're like, let's just make the arc about Judai then. That way he has a reason to steal everything. That's fine.
Then
Everyone
the
else
final arc is
is
just based.
Yes. And Hellkaiser is just Hellkaiser. He's just running around wild killing people and no one can stop him.
He's probably still doing that to this day.
He still is. He's
I
like,
did.
"Oh."
I fought a fucking.
That's a great lesson to reinforce.
I bought a
It's a
Zane
staple
player
of
in
the
the
genre
fucking
for a
Kaiba
reason.
Entity
Cup.
Destroyer.
No, I beat his ass. It wasn't even close. It
Oh, I
was
guess
actually
you were
kind
lucky then.
of sad. Drowning Beer Force go burr.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
Yeah, then you were lucky because usually they would just summon Rampage Dragon and blow up your entire board.
Yeah, I would. That's what I would do. I always saw my Rampage Dragon pop your shit and attack you twice again.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I was just about to say it wasn't fucking Jimmy's. Or sorry, fuck, Scans. So that's probably why it worked.
no, I'm telling you, every fucking.
No, I'm telling. No, what I mean is,
would.
fucking going against you taught me a vague idea of what the strats are.
Oh, okay.
I was like, ah, hell no, I'm not allowing this shit. And I didn't break, so here we are.
Let me that out.
Yay, victory.
Truly,
Arc
Yu-Gi-Oh was the
victory.
friends we made. It was the friends we made along the way.
Exactly, you relied on the power of friendship. Jimmy taught you how to play.
Yes.
I kind of beat him, and that's how it happened. Like,
Which is
I've
a better
also-
character arc than anything in 5D.
Yes.
He's also learned a very good lesson. Always put your big monster in the middle zone so no asshole with code talk will show up and use
Yes.
it to gain attack points. He learned that lesson
But
from
the
me.
Note
I'm
5D's
so
end
proud.
zone is
You're
a bit more
fucking
mature than
bitch, and I still hate you.
While
for
those
that.
bonds are important for getting you through life, there will come times where you have to stand on your own 2 feet and walk your own.
Yeah, do you know what I already did that it's called fucking Jax? You can't.
Yeah.
Possibly away
Even
from those
fucking
friends,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
which
Even
is
the Duel
never
Monster
easy.
did that.
Every
Literally,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Final
series
Duel
does
is-
that,
For
Lomao.
university or
Hey, I'm not going to
relocating
use
for
my
your
crush
job,
anymore. Tim,
saying
go
goodbye
home.
to your friends can be
Yeah.
tough. So in the same
I know
vein
that
of
much.
Yugi versus Atem and Duel Monsters, this epilogue duel is a way
He mispronounced the fucking pharaoh. Atem. No, it's Artem.
He attempted to say the name. Got it.
Got him.
way for the characters to put a close to
Also,
this chapter.
yeah, can we just talk about how shit this final duel is? Because it's Yusei versus the guy that's been jobbing the last 50 episodes.
And he jobs
obviously
again.
Yusei's been jobbing, and
Yeah.
just
Like,
jobs again.
This
It's
story
so
started
bad.
with Yusei looking to settle his feud with Jack after what happened between them.
Yeah, and then he settled his feud with Jack, so this final duel is completely pointless, kind of.
They would
Satellite,
literally the best
and it
final
concludes
duel
with
he
the
could
two
have
saying
had could have been
goodbye to each
Bruno.
other and
Bruno
their
didn't turn evil and die. Like,
Yeah.
like that would have been a much better duel. There's so many better ways. you
Just
could end it.
do a fucking Yugi again for all I care.
Yeah, let's go get Judai or Yugi from the past and fight them easy.
like-
Judai did
No.
it.
No.
He went back in time to duel Yugi. You
Kaiba
can
did it too.
You fucking spinning. It's a rite of
Everyone does that. That's something they should have made tradition instead of making up new summoning types every fucking season.
Go back to get your run. Go back to beat the fuck out of Yugi. Declare yourself king of games.
And it just gets proceedingly ridiculous with each fucking series because the cards are better and Yugi just fucking gets shat on.
He fucking hates him. Like, Yugi does this whole bullshit pen combo using pen synchro feed actually, and Yugi goes to hate him. I set in pads.
friends
But he still
in the
somehow wins.
only way they know
No,
how.
he
Plus, if there
fucking
was a
lost to
duel to set
Judai.
this
He
series
totally
off
lost
on,
to Judai
it's
already.
this. An even
And then
back and
Judai
forth match
carried them
between
for all of
characters with an
Beyond
extensive
Time.
history, a showcase of how synchro summons fundamentally changed the way duels are approached, hype motorcycle action,
Really wasn't hype.
all made better
part
through
of
the
the
use of
motorcycles in this
fantastic
anime were
insert
hype.
songs. And in the end,
The
Yusei
insert song
pulls
was
through
great,
by
though.
utilizing all the
Sure.
same low-level junk cards he's been playing since the first episodes, keeping to
He
his
should've
core
used that
ideology
against
that
them,
every
to be honest.
card and person has its purpose to the very end. Everyone has their place in life, and it's just a matter of going out to discover what that is.
I
wish
5Ds
I
may
could
be
use
known
their
as
note
a darker
you should
series
kill
within
yourself
the grander
now.
Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, but in actuality, it's brimming with hope that we can all find our way eventually, even if we struggle along the way. It's simply having the confidence in yourself and the bonds you make getting there. Thanks again for watching.
So
He's
it's
not
meaningless
much.
platitudes. Got it.
Yes.
and have a good one.
Oh, my favorite. I love meeting
No,
with
how about
platitudes.
Anyway,
we
thanks
can
everyone
next
for
time
being
we
so
can get
patient
to
with me on this
game
one.
actually
Real
about
talk,
friendship
I've been
and
struggling with
bonds
massive
that's
burnout
done
the last few
well.
months and figuring out
Oh,
what I want
bro,
this
you mean
channel
we
to
finished
be
Hunter x
going
Hunter already?
forward.
Houston.
So I deeply appreciate that many of you are more than willing
Orange
to let me
knows what
take
I
my
mean.
time to finish these videos.
Kizuna,
And a special
Nakama.
shout out to my patrons who support me over on
Why do you have
Patreon.
Patreons?
If you want to help support the
Maybe
channel,
You
like
people
these
paid
items
for
on the
this?
screen,
Maybe
Nah,
that
hold
would
up.
do me a
Niggas
big
paid
smile.
for this?
And with all that said, I'm gonna go back to playing Master Duel.
Stop playing
Why are
Master
you
Duel
going
is
back to
bad.
Master
Fuck
Duel?
off. Don't
has such a
support
bad
Consumer.
Don't support Konami's
Fucking
dog shit.
consumer.
Anyway, here's your dislike. Fucking hell.
I hate you. I hate him so much. Wait, oh god. He didn't do one for Full Metal Alchemist, did he?
He did.
Oh
We don't
god.
care enough about that, so
I'm not watching it. It's probably gonna be shit.
yeah.
Oh.
The only
Honestly,
thing I'd be
most
interested-
discourse about Full Metal is bad.
The only thing that'd be interesting is how bad his DMC3 opinions are. That's about it.
How does one have bad opinions about DMC3?
How can you have a bad opinion about 5Ds?
Think it's good.
Exactly. Maybe he just has a very bad
But
opinion.
honestly, even from this video, he didn't even think it was good.
Okay, so he was just disingenuous, you're right.
He kind of like, what he actually said is it's shit.